Happy Slugging. My name is Trip Starlight, and I'm back from my vacation to talk about Dungeon Meshi. I'm very excited. I'm very excited. Oh my gosh. Okay, first, Author Archer, thank you very much for joining the Observatory and Code Jason. Thank you very much for being a Slugling sub for 5 months. I'm a trebuchet? No, Scuba can't take over the Scuba can't read, so he can't be part of the book club. Anyway.
What?
Scuba can't read. But I'm here with
Audiobooks are a thing.
Shh. How's he gonna audiobook Dungeon Meshi?
What? Just get like really good person explaining what's happening in each picture.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, right?
Really long book.
Marcil has like the silliest face.
Yeah.
The silliest face you've ever seen, and that outfit. I'm like, is this subjective, or are you just saying what you really want to say?
Banned from my own channel. No! I'm canceled for saying ducks can't read. I'm here with my friends who can read, with Dr. Toto Hex, Realm,
Debatable.
and Dawn. Debatable.
And
We have read the remaining chapters that we needed to read of Dungeon Meshi, which is like 68 to the end. There's like 97 chapters. I read it before I went on my main vacation, and I thought it was great, and I hope you guys liked it too. Excited to talk about it.
I hated it. Just kidding.
Say ducks can't read. I don't know. Most slugs can't read either. I'm an exception.
All turtles can read.
All turtles can
We just can't tell you.
I was gonna say they're probably smarter than I am. So
Yeah, we're
Dang.
slow readers.
Dang. So yeah, I have this warning above: anime onlys beware, full spoilers ahead. I mean it. We're talking about things that were not at all depicted in the anime at all, even though the second season was announced. But I think you should just read it. So
probably the first 2 seconds of the stream are gonna be spoiling big aspects of the world building of this series. So
Yes.
definitely,
Yeah.
if that's part of what you're there for, be careful.
yeah, be careful. Go read and then watch.
It's like the best. I mean, I love the anime. The anime is doing it justice, but it's
Yeah.
only I only have such a high standard for the anime because the manga is so excellent. So it's
Yeah.
good. It's good read.
Right. Wait, I was gonna say something
Go
else.
read the manga. The manga is great. And also watch the second season of the anime when it comes out.
Well,
Or
yeah.
watch
I
the
feel
anime if you haven't already.
We'll give you like
It's all-
10
it's very
seconds.
good.
We'll give it like 10 seconds. Just like go read it. And
Yeah,
come
just
back
go read it
like
in 10 seconds.
10 seconds. Yeah.
Yeah, right,
Talk
Realm?
about it. Realm read it in 10
Realm's like,
seconds.
not even listening. It's all
I'm not gonna
good.
read that fast.
What? You're reading everything in 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Doing the best I can.
It's all good.
I think I mentioned this a million times in the other streams, but I read this on a plane ride mostly.
Yeah.
And I was taking my sweet time because I just wanted it was the most engaged I had been on the flight, so it was just keeping my time occupied.
No, I think this would be great to read on a plane because I'd be engaged like the whole time.
Mhm,
Yeah.
Yeah.
mhm.
Glad I
Keep
did
you
because when I was
distracted from all the
when I
other
was in
stuff.
Japan, there was so much Dungeon Meshi stuff, and I
Mhm.
understood because I had read it. So
Good timing.
yeah, very good
I
timing.
think I watched like the first few episodes of the anime and then I binged the rest of the manga because I was like, what happens next? I think it was only like episode 5 or 4 or something.
Oh yeah.
I read it like right before the anime started, like probably like the week
Oh,
before the
wow.
anime started, I think.
Wow.
Nice. Yeah, I think for this particular chunk, I was reading it in like small bits while waiting for my queue to go down in Final Fantasy 14. But then it got to the point where I was like, nah, I just need to read this, and so I would just like jiggle my mouse occasionally so I don't get kicked out.
Yeah, 30-minute timer. Yeah.
Yeah. It was great. It was more distracting than Dawn Trail, even though I'm really liking it too.
Both good stories.
Yeah,
for
both
different
great.
reasons. Both have really cute cat people, cat girls. But,
It's
you know.
true.
And it's
Total results may
Izumi's not
vary.
that cute.
I think
How can you say that?
Uklamat's more your type, Toto.
Oh, you would
What's that?
love Wuklamat. Oh my
Wuklamat.
god.
She's super strong, buff lion lady.
Oh damn, yes. That's not
Yeah.
my type.
Yeah.
She's very cute and like kind of silly. She's awesome.
Yeah,
she's the best.
Yeah, she's silly, kind of like a shonen protagonist, but she's just friendly and likes to
Yeah.
make friends and stuff.
See, Izitsumi doesn't like to make friends. She just scratches your face.
It's because she's a real cat.
She's just a cat.
I know.
She's
I'm
not a
a
lion.
dog person, apparently.
Yeah.
Or a turtle person.
Turtle person. But yes, where we last left off, it was like bad. Bad stuff happened. Lios
yeah.
killed his own sister. She ate a bunch of curry and was very cute. Now she's dead. Sad. Sad.
Yeah, it was pretty brutal too. He like choked her out.
Yeah, it was like, whoa. Well, we're going there. And then now these like next set of chapters are all called like Thistle 1 through however many it is. And
Yep.
we find out like Thistle's backstory, a lot of Thistle's like more about Thistle's like motivations and why they're doing what they're doing. Just Thistle in general.
Yeah, so they like really care about King Delgal and the people of the country, and they want to protect them all.
Yeah.
And they do so by creating the dungeon, basically.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
having all of the people in the Golden Country stay in the dungeon to have eternal life.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's a good way to show us exactly how the demon's powers work without like just telling us. So it's cool.
Yeah, it was
Um,
nice. Like they find the book and then they can say what they want.
Yeah, say what they want, and they wanted to keep everyone safe.
Yeah, they never die.
Yeah, and they never die.
That maybe that won't work out so well.
No. Yeah,
Just a thought.
right. I think it isn't here, but I think I don't know. I like that they represent Thistle's like anxiety with like biting their nails.
Oh yes, yeah.
I bite my tummy too.
Yeah. And I kind of like Thistle's approach to the demon, like, you can't control me, and just, like, fights the lion
Oh
buckhead.
yes, yeah.
Yeah, they really go into control freak mode. Not only just a lion, but also like Delgal and his family.
Yeah.
And all the
Thistle
people
is-
who want to go back to the surface.
Thistle's
Thistle's like-
so cool though. Like I love their character. It's very like realistic depiction of a character like this. I think I don't know.
Yeah. And Thistle's like, no, you can't go to the surface because if you go to the surface, you're outside the dungeon's protection, and then I can't protect you.
Yeah.
So they just go like absolutely like crazy with overprotectiveness.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I actually agree with you. I think, like, because a Thistle was given such an important task, inevitably, because it's so important, like, you're responsible for everyone. You're going to go crazy and just become a control freak over
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
Especially considering that Thistle was kind of like adopted
Yeah.
into the family.
Mm-hmm.
They probably feel very like, you know, they need to protect these people because they were like the people that like, you know, housed them and gave them a good life kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Right.
I do like, man, the way she draws lions. I don't know how she does it.
I
It's so
know.
like good, like so realistic.
Yeah,
Yes.
they're, like, cute, but very realistic looking, this
Mhm.
lion demon
Sometimes
thing.
cute, sometimes
Sometimes
like fierce.
horrifying. Yeah.
It's a very good depiction of an animal. Like crazy.
There's
And he
something
looks so squishy somehow.
There's
Yeah.
something I notice. It's like even though Ryokukui is drawing like fantasy like races, but they all are like anatomically like really well drawn. I don't know how to say that word.
Anatomically.
Anatomically, that's the word.
proportional, Yeah.
Yeah, I was like everyone is like the correct proportions. Like there's no problem in not doing that. I just was like impressed because I feel like I don't see it as much.
They do a good
And so-
job like giving people good features too. Like Thistle's like hands are very big.
Yeah,
I always noticed.
yeah,
But it gives them a lot of expression. So like it just really works with their character design.
yeah,
And the other thing is, it's also very consistent. Like you notice that like Thistle's ears are more pointed than
Yep.
Marcil's,
mm-hmm.
and
I
like
wonder why.
the way that like Senchi's like head is proportioned to his body is always very consistent.
Yeah,
Like,
she's good. I mean, she's just
Okay.
like, she cares a lot about human anatomy. You can see it in her like, you know, pre-chapter stuff and all of
Mhm.
her.
not just human anatomy, monster anatomy too, just like anatomy in
Yeah,
general.
Yeah.
she just respects it. It's
Mhm.
important. It's really cool that it's so important to this story's like identity, is
Yeah.
like the character design specifically. So it's neat to see it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
even when they have like deformed like surprise faces, like the way their eyes open is consistent with how big their eyes are.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
good
it's
ass art.
very impressive.
ass
Yeah, it's like anything that I might have had a critique on the art at the beginning, it's completely gone now. It's like
I know, she's-
perfected.
I was gonna say it's really cool to see how how good of an artist she becomes. Not that she's bad at the beginning. She's leagues and bounds better than anything I would do. But like, it's really cool to see like how she obviously cares a lot. Like she wanted this to become better. She wanted to like, be a better artist as it goes, and it shows. It's very cool. It's just
Yeah,
so passionate. It's very nice.
it's really nice. We do cut to Lios and crew, and Lios decides that he needs to become the new Lord of the Dungeon.
The new DM.
Yeah, the new
Yep.
DM. Because like that's the only way to like control the dungeon and make it so Fallon is safe and
Yeah,
eat
because
her
the other thing
and-
is like Fallon and them are at the bottom, and they
Yeah.
need to move them to the top so that they can eat all of the Fallon meat.
Yeah, that's the only way to
without
do it safely.
Like, slowing. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Um,
it doesn't really work. Fallon or not Fallon, Thistle is
Thistle,
very
yeah.
actually really good at with using their like desire magic and everything.
Mm-hmm.
It makes everything huge and makes dragons appear everywhere.
Well, it's not makes them huge. It makes the people small.
I thought it was the opposite.
Is it? Oh no, you're right.
Yeah.
Because they control the dungeon. You are correct.
Yeah. I
It makes
was
the
like, oh,
dungeon
they're
big.
tiny. And then they're like, oh no, the kitchen is huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. But also, what a great like set piece for a boss fight. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
It
No.
fits so well with like the monsters and the cooking to have a fight in a
kitchen.
giant kitchen fighting
Well, I
a
like-
ton of dragons.
I really like this. I love antagonists like this. This has like a sense of humor, and they're like actually kind of like messing with them a little bit,
Mhm.
where they're like, oh, how does it feel to be eaten by like, how does it feel to be the prey? Like, get eaten by
Yeah.
fucking like monsters and stuff.
Also,
like you've been
they
doing
go
this the
so
whole time.
extra. They're like, "Fuck you, every dragon, every type of dragon that
Yeah.
exists."
Every dragon ever.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
it's just to like almost just scare them into
Yeah,
submission.
it's a great like escalation from the previous like red dragon fight. It's like now instead of taking the time to fight like each of these dragons one by one, we're just
Yeah.
Yeah.
off
It-
the wall.
There are like gags while they're fighting. Like Senshi hides under a pot, and they're like, "No,
Yeah.
don't do it!" And they turns into Senshi casserole.
Yeah, they all die. And
It's
they all
like-
die, and then they have a cooking like
Yeah,
little
they-
description
Yeah, the
for
little
them.
recipe cards that have been like consistent throughout the
Yeah,
whole
fuck.
It's like,
series.
no!
the-
But then
the-
you're like
the,
not
like-
happy about it.
Like Chill Chuck turning into a popsicle. It's like so
Oh my
cartoony.
goodness.
It's
so
great.
funny.
Yeah, it was really funny. But yeah, basically everyone except for Lios ends up dying in this scene. In this like
Yep.
few chapters.
I love that. In one of the chapter pages, they have like the status of all the characters, like manga thing. And it says like it says Thistle on this one, but like Thistle status mad, like,
Mad,
Lios
yes.
status in crisis, and the rest of them are
Yeah.
just dead.
Yeah, everyone's just dead.
Oh yeah, the casual crude recipes were really funny.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, this fight is awesome. It's just like so fun to watch. Just like so much stuff happening, and it's all drawn well.
Yeah,
it's just
everything's
cool.
going well.
It's very easy to follow, which I
Yeah.
think is a testament to how good she is at paneling. And
Yeah, and I
She's the
love
best.
the
This
dragons make
series
silly
is art.
faces when following
Yeah.
orders.
Oh, yeah.
It's great.
yeah, I do like that idea. That's like the dragons are like these ethereal creatures, but Laos is like they're still monsters, though. They're still animals. Like they
Yeah.
will fight each other. They will, they want to survive. These kind of like he's so smart. Like,
Yeah.
Well, he's smart when it comes to monsters for sure.
Yeah,
yeah,
he knows
exactly.
everything.
That's really important. Like
But that's what they're doing
what
right
allows him
now.
to survive. You
He's a
know?
Exactly.
special interest, so he can survive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, you fool, you should have like targeted me with a bunch of like noble people that I don't know how to deal with. You targeted me with monsters.
You
I
should
know
have
how to
given
deal
me a
with.
social situation.
I know.
But instead, it's just dragons.
Yeah, it's just dragons. I know dragons. I read books about dragons.
Yeah, so he very cleverly is able to avoid all of Thistle's attacks.
Yeah. Mhm.
By how he like hides in a dragon.
Yeah, he makes use of like the furry white dragons, like fur, to dodge like the poison.
Oh yes, yeah.
And recognizes which dragons will like be the least dangerous and the ones he could actually deal with.
Yeah.
And he also makes use of the we learned earlier in the series that the nightmares are dragons too.
Yeah,
Oh,
and he
yeah.
uses the nightmares. Yeah,
Mhm.
very smart.
Everything is learned.
And then he grabs the book. Well, no, he doesn't. It like falls into the water, right? Yeah, it falls into the water. But
Yeah,
that's
but
he just
He
looks
does
so
the whole like
fucked up.
teleports behind you on Thistle though.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, nothing personal.
And then he just has like bleeding from the eyes, like
Yeah.
Yeah, then he just holds her down. He doesn't he tie Thistle to himself and carries them around? I think that's what
I
happens.
think so, yeah.
To his back, yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
like while they're
that's
doing that, I think Thistle's gets a little charmed by how like, how passionate Lios is about like,
No.
getting their friends back and cooking and stuff and their
Mhm.
adventure.
Because
They have a meal
Thistle, they
together.
actually don't know that much about dragons or the monsters. They just make them or
Yeah.
summon them. But they don't really care. They just want to protect everything
Mhm.
that they care about. But they don't actually care about the monsters like Lios does.
Mhm. Thistle also is like, you cheated. This is fraud. Tied me to your back.
No, you know what this is? This is like the DM like getting so mad and petty at a party for like doing things like not part of their railroaded story. And it's like, all right, well then fine. I summon every single dragon to fight you.
Yeah.
And then the problem is Lios has read the monster manual and knows the entire rule book. So he's like, actually, this dragon will do this.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he uses everything.
Yeah.
And he gets all his friends together so they can be revived.
Yep.
And he tries. No, he does. He makes green dragon aquapazza for Thistle and
On
him.
a giant spoon.
On a giant spoon. And uses the book as like a heating pad.
It's so
great.
disrespectful.
It is very disrespectful. I loved it. Like, Lios doesn't care. He'll use anything. Yeah, it's great. And oh yeah, if there are any VOD users, we'll see if Realm hates Lios less. I saw your comments.
Well,
We'll see.
almost there.
Almost there.
Yeah. So after they kind of talk over the meal, Lios feels comfortable letting Thistle free, which is once again Lios's weakness is not being able to read people. Because Thistle immediately is like, well, okay, I get it now. People need to eat to be happy. So I'm just gonna like tie you up with like tentacle vines and feed you.
Yeah.
So, there you go. Now you live forever and you get to eat.
Infinite food. Yeah, just getting like food.
That will make you happy now, right? You get infinite food.
Yeah, don't you like that?
Yeah.
Because of this new desire, this new confidence, the desire to feed people and help Thistle's people, the lion starts feeding on Thistle. Such a cool visual, like the way the lion just like will just eat into them to like grab the weird thing out of them. It's so cool, like
spooky.
It's pretty spooky.
It is, but I love that. I mean, you're supposed to be really unsettled by it.
It feels so invasive.
Yeah, it's so good. Yeah, it's so good though. Like for what it's trying to be, it is doing it flawlessly. It's like, oh god, you hate to see it.
Yeah, it's like ew, don't lick.
They made
licking.
the little like gusher looking thing that is the desire or thing
Right,
that's so
like a
delectable.
gusher.
Yeah, he like
I
licks
want
it.
to eat your fruit gusher. I don't like the way the lion licks them though. It's weird.
It is interesting. I think I do understand the imagery though, because like the lion is literally eating like the most like closest thing to Thistle. So it's like it is very invasive and it is supposed to be very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's like the lion literally is like waiting for the perfect opportunity where you are the most vulnerable to, take the most important part of you right there.
Yeah.
So it's like, dang. That's cool.
Yeah.
Good way to write a villain because it's like, oh, this is terrible. Like this is horrible.
I guess I didn't explain. Yeah, like while Thistle is celebrating that, they're so happy that they found out a new way to make the Golden Country citizens happy by feeding them. The lion pops out of the book and ambushes them and takes their desire.
Yeah, it takes the desire, and because of that, Thistle doesn't have the desire anymore. Basically,
Yeah, like we've seen it happen because we've seen it happen to what's his
Mithrin.
face?
Mithrin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yes, yeah.
Yeah. And kind of almost basically goes catatonic, but grabs like Marcil before that happens.
Mm-hmm.
Which
I think manages to revive her, right?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Don't they all get revived? Or does...
Well,
I think
they
Marcil
revive
does it,
Marcil, and then Marcil revives everyone else.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and then the lion is like, "You dumb fuck, Lios. You tried to talk things over."
Once again, Lios is good at one thing and one thing only, and it's monsters.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, like Thistle is still alive, but like in a catatonic, like coma state, basically.
Yeah.
Because they have no desire for anything anymore.
Yeah.
It's over.
Same. No.
No. It's okay. There's other mangas besides Dungeon Meshi that you can read.
Yeah. There's so many manga to read. But then, we find out very quickly that Marcil is actually the next lord of the dungeon. Because of the transfer, I guess, that Thistle does.
Yeah.
Which I guess I was right, because I did predict that last time. I was sort of right.
Well, also, Izutsumi finds Yad, who is soul is like trapped in a little tall.
Yeah.
But I feel like, I don't know, this plot point doesn't like come up that often.
It doesn't.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I know.
no,
I feel like it could have been like played on like once more, like in between now and later.
I think it kind of just serves to give Izutsumi a new perspective.
I guess.
But yeah, there wasn't much to it.
Yeah, it feels like it was going to be a bigger deal than it was.
Yeah,
I think.
like this is another reason I'm not the hugest fan of Izutsumi, because Izutsumi, remember, their whole goal was to find the mad sorcerer and find a way to split their body back to normal.
Yeah.
But like now, even though they defeated the mad sorcerer, they don't really talk about it or anything. And this like plot thread, kind of left to dry.
Yeah, because I mean, they talk about it earlier, where like it's not going to be maybe even possible for Izutsumi to be turned back into a human, and I think she kind of gives up on it.
Yeah, I know, but I feel like we just needed like one more like chapter to like explore her feelings regarding that. Maybe like for her to like really talk to Yad and like figure things out.
Yeah, understandable.
Yeah,
just a little bit at the end, but yeah.
Yeah, just a little bit at the end. I just wanted one more in between, you know.
So this chapter cover, 73's chapter cover, is so cool. It's like them all like feeding on like Laos's tongue.
Oh yeah,
all the hands.
Very good imagery.
That's so cool.
Oh, I like. What was it? Was it 71 or 70? That had the Dungeon Master Thistle.
Yes, that was like really 70 something. Yeah, that one's really cool too. Or the one right before that where it's Thistle, but the book is covering their face.
These are like just like they're just works of art, you know.
They're
the compositions are so good.
They're gorgeous.
Just beautiful works of art for real.
That's what she does. This whole thing is
it's so real. It's great.
Oh yeah, then they drink and then they get hangovers.
Yeah, they all drink. They get hungover. They might as well. I mean, they didn't. They survived a big old dragon fight with Thistle.
Yeah.
Kinda. I mean, they died, but they're fine.
They have no time to wait because.
Loose here.
What's up?
So dying is a very loose term in this situation.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, as long as you're
it's
in the
more
dungeon.
It's like more like being like downed in D&D or something.
Yeah, they were KO'd.
Yeah, KO'd.
But not what is it? TPK? Yeah. I almost said TK and I was like, that's not right.
Yeah, no need for new character sheet yet. They're just down.
Yeah.
But yeah, all the canaries are here.
Yes,
Kabu tries to warn Lios.
Yeah, they're all like, just like, do not tell them anything. Do not tell them like if that you met like Thistle, and they're like, have you met the Lord of the Dungeon? And he's like, no.
No. Looks away. Looks up.
Cabro's like, he's such a bad liar.
Yeah, it's true. It's the canaries and Kabu.
It's like literally like not one like at a disadvantage for
so-
all social checks for
It's so
Lios.
good. That's the way to play a D&D character, though. Like that's why I always thought the series was based on an actual campaign, because I could see someone having a character like Lios who's just is so good at animal handling and all that bullshit, but then like has like negative charisma or something. So
yeah,
like,
it's like you min-max, you're good at one thing and you're
that's what
terrible
makes
at the other
yeah.
thing.
I always hated. Well, I don't hate. I guess people can play however they want, but it always felt a little boring when people play D&D and they like they either balance their characters perfectly so they can be just like the perfect
Yeah, I think it's
jack of all
too.
trades, just like really strong character. I'm like, you got to have your character be like flawed. Like,
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's a boring story. It's just you never run into any problems.
I was just gonna say, like, if Laz wasn't like this, I would probably enjoy the story a lot less. Like, it makes such funny scenarios. It keeps conflict happening. That's a big part of storytelling. Like, it's good.
I feel like if he was just like this, but didn't have the rest of the like main characters, I wouldn't be able to stand him. But it's really nice because they balance each other's weaknesses.
Yeah, everyone has different strengths and different stats and different weaknesses too. It does feel like a very legit D&D party.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really does. I thought it was when I first started reading the series. I was just, I don't know if I heard it somewhere. I was just convinced it was based on a D&D campaign, and I just always thought that. But then when I got back into it a few months ago, I like looked it up and I was like, oh, it's not. Huh? I always thought it was.
Right. No, actually, she said it was like in a interview like a couple weeks ago that she took the most inspiration from Wizardry 6. And then I read like the beginning story and I was like, oh, she definitely did.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it's the people have come to a castle that's been abandoned for over 100 years, which is rumored to contain the Cosmic Forge, which is a pen said to control the destiny of time and space, and whatever the pen writes will become instantly true. And then goes on from there. And then it changes from there, but like the very basic premise, I was like, yeah, okay, I see it. Yeah.
I also like how we've slowly been getting introduced to each of the canaries like powers, just like very softly, like without being over-explained. They just casually, when their time comes, show off their power.
Yeah, I thought they would all kind of meld together, but I actually know what they each do now.
Yeah.
I don't know their names all, but
so this is the hot one. She's the mommy one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like makes them all tell the truth.
Yeah.
With potions them basically.
I love this panel, this very small little panel of Senshi giving out tea to everyone.
It's so cute.
Yeah.
It's such a cute idea. You can like very clearly see it, like him walking around giving it to everybody.
Yeah, it's good. And they get Papa Ra or whatever. However you say that. It's like a little fawn.
They all feed them. I really like I think my favorite canary is the one the girl with like kind of like the messier, like the shorter girl with the messier hair.
Yeah.
With the big gloves.
Mm-hmm.
I love big gloves.
Yeah, the one who like transfers her soul into her familiar.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yes, yeah.
Right, yeah.
She's cool.
What's her name?
I don't remember her name.
I only know Patadol. I don't know any of the other
Yeah, Patadol is funny.
Yeah.
She's the funny one. She's the Marcil of the group.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, it's Flecky. Flecky is the one.
Yes.
Ada is the earthbender. Sithis is the hot one.
Sithis,
And then Lycion. Well, that one's easy because he's like a lichen. And he's Lycion, a Lycion.
He's hot man.
And he's also hot, but he's hot man instead of
hot man.
And then Mithrin is obviously the leader.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know Mithrin and Patadol. That's about it.
Flamella comes in later, and she also, is very distinct. The dark-skinned elf who comes in way later.
Yeah. That too. Oh yeah, so the lady probably said her name hypnotizes them to tell the truth.
Yeah, Sithis makes them tell the truth, and they're really shocked that they've actually taken down the dungeon, the Lord of the Dungeon.
Yeah, where meanwhile Marcil and Izuzumi are hiding in the attic with Thistle.
Yeah, because he shows up and then...
Yeah, Mithrin shows up and just, like, breaks the roof.
Yeah. I like how his powers are, instead of, like, teleports behind you, it's teleports you behind something else.
Somewhere. He doesn't quite know.
He doesn't know. It's really good.
Shoulder shrug.
Shrug. We're going somewhere. Yeah. Teleports you behind. But yeah, Mithrin's whole thing is to try to, like, kill the demon. So, yeah, he's really interrogatey and makes explosion, then they fall. Then Marcil has to, like, pretend to...
Yeah, I don't think Marcil has actually become the Lord of Dungeon here.
Oh, no.
Marcil becomes the Lord of Dungeon because, like, they're desperate to get the book and get away.
Oh, I guess you're right.
Yeah.
Well, whatever. Spoilers. It doesn't matter. It's all spoiler here.
Yeah.
Yeah, unless someone's literally reading it as we're talking.
Right.
Shh, don't blow my cover.
I don't think you're reading chapter 74.
Yeah, I thought you were close to the end.
Oh, no, I'm on 95.
Yeah. That's very close to the end.
Yeah, so Marcil, like, tries to put up a farce, like, oh, yes, I am very proper elf. I know all things.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Well,
And
before, I think, was we found out that she's not a full elf,
Yeah,
right?
she's a half elf.
She's a half elf. Yeah, which is cool. 'Cause she always she has rounded ears. Everyone has pointy ears.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
It's like, oh, it was from the beginning.
And then it also helps explain why she wants so badly to make everyone live the same age, because actually, similar to in real life, if you, like, don't inbreed, if you, like, mix genes, you actually become stronger, and she actually lives longer than other elves and humans.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, it also explains, like, her insecurity over, like, dying before, or living longer than everyone else is even, like, more exacerbated, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, it explains it. It makes sense.
Yeah, and she's the entire series, she's been like that. It's pretty cool. Like, there's, like, little hints that she's always really, really concerned about the people she's close to's, like, lives. Like, I mean, with Fallon, like, you know, it's, like, constant that she's, like, constantly, like, I can't lose this person in my life kind of thing.
Yeah.
And, yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, oh, it's so... The shot of, like, the lion coming out of her pants, question mark?
Oh, yeah. So good.
It's cool. Ugh.
Yeah, she stuffs the books in her pants. Not in, like, a lewd way, in the, like, sleeve area.
She can shove it into her pants. This would be lewd. She can shove it down. Oh yeah, they are. I didn't really realize that.
Yeah, no, they're in the legs of her pants, and she summons the demon, and then makes a deal with him to become Lord of the Dungeon as they try to get away.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then... Sorry, I'm running through. Oh yeah, she just runs. It's spooky.
Oh yeah, and then Kabu tries to tell them, like, oh, you can't deal with a, like, demon. He's evil, but they don't listen to him because fuck Kabu.
He tries to kill him, doesn't he? He, like, fights him, stabs him, or whatever.
Yeah, they all try to kill the demon.
That's so cool the way he, like, teleports.
Mithrin stabs the demon.
Yeah, he like teleports parts of his body to, like, just, oh my god.
Such a destructive power.
It is. Yeah, I really like that Mithrin just, like, teleports all sorts of things into the demon.
Yeah.
Very cool. It's just, I don't know. Teleportation can be used in very boring ways, but it's really cool here.
It's very Trafalgar Law.
Yeah, it's very Law.
It is, yeah.
But even then, I feel like Law, I don't see it in such cool ways.
Yeah, I feel like this is definitely gorier. It's definitely bloodier because it's like you literally delete the space. And then at least Law, like, they're still alive. They're just separated. But no, this is like blood everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then she gets stabbed, and she has all these cool visions of her hanging out with her friends. And
Yeah.
really, what she loves in life is her friends.
She loves her friends.
The friend you make along the way.
Yeah.
The real One Piece.
And Marcil like finally makes a wish, solidifying her role as the new Lord of the Dungeon.
Yeah.
She gets a cool outfit to go with it.
Yeah, she becomes goth elf girl.
Goth elf girl. I love everyone
summons
hates
these
it except for her.
spiders.
It's great.
Oh yeah, the
I
spiders turn all
know.
cute.
And then she's like, "Oh no, I summoned a bunch of spiders, but they're scary to me too."
Actually more terrifying. The spider's like skin rips off, and they have these like weird plushy heads.
They're like Hello Kitty
Terrifying.
faces underneath.
Like,
Yeah.
Just like, oh, man, the way she draws the demon, it's so perfectly scary. The way he's so
Yeah.
like trying to comfort her, like be gentle towards her. It's like, you know, it's because he's evil and he wants to eat her. But like,
yeah.
Just like Tony the Tiger.
Oh,
Yeah,
what?
pretty
Tony
much.
Tiger's gonna eat me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh god.
He looks very daddy, but
yeah,
turns out he was
he's
evil
like saying to
all
like Marcil,
along.
like, we are tiger.
Yeah.
Oh my
That's how
gosh.
he gets her. Ew. Forgot Mithrin is inside the spider or whatever.
Yes. It's in the spider. I like that even
Oh.
the mushrooms are cute. Like everything is cute. All of the things that Marcil makes, all the
Yeah.
monsters.
Well, it's cool because they show her like when she needs to make something, she makes it look pretty cute. Like she obviously just like likes that character design idea, like
Mhm.
of something like simple and cute. So
Yeah.
She doesn't want it to be scary.
I also like that it shows like a change in the dungeon, you know? Now
Yeah.
that there's a new dungeon lord. Now there are cute monsters.
yeah, and even the layout, they go out and it looks different too.
Yeah, they completely revamp the place.
Yes.
And Kabu confesses his love to Lios.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then punches him. Class.
Yeah.
So it's like I think it's funny how frustrating Lios can be so much of the story and how many times he gets like wailed on at least once or twice. Like it feels like he's justifyingly like getting his comeuppance sometimes. Like, why are you such a fucking idiot? Like,
Yeah.
hmm
No, Kabu is totally into Lios, though. He's like, actually, I just wanted to get to know you better
He's-
this whole time. Which I'm not sure how I feel because he kind of like wanted to also kill Lios.
I think, yeah. I mean, Kabu's weird. Kabu's like pretty.
Kabu is a
complicated.
very
But, like-
homophobic gay man. Like
Yeah.
I
I
said
think.
before.
I think. Well, I think he was. I think at first Kabu was very like close-minded, like just need to save his people, get through the dungeon, do whatever. Like he was very mission focused,
hmm
and he kind of still was, but he was so good at like, becoming allies and understanding people by like using his insane charisma and like understanding. But like Laos is the only person he couldn't read, so
Yeah.
like. I could, you can kind of tell it's like it frustrated him to a point of like how he didn't know how to feel. So I like the line of him being like he thought like the only way he connect with him is to be friends with him. So he's like, and you almost get this feeling that it's not like he wants to be like, it's like this weird kind of like his friends, but he just like wants to understand him, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
hmm
I wish there was like more of a connection between like Kabu's time with Mithrin and like taking care of him and being forced to eat monsters with him like understanding why like Lios is interested in monsters. But like
Yeah, I
Kabu
agree.
still like does not like monsters at all.
He just still
Yeah.
doesn't like it at the end. Yeah.
Which is fine. I mean, like he might have been a little bit more like patient with Laos compared to how he used to be maybe after those interactions,
Yeah.
but he doesn't need to be like a 180, I guess.
hmm Yeah. It's weird. It's like, I did do like what you said before, like where he's like what you would expect the main character to be in like a series.
Yeah.
But instead he has to deal with Lios.
He's a cool character in this
He's the
series,
guy who
right?
took all of like the fighting stats and
Yeah.
charisma to play a high riz character, and then
Mhm.
didn't take care of like animal mastery and like nature skills.
Yeah.
Kabu is one of my favorite additions to the story because I think he's very unconventional for a character. Like I just didn't know what to expect from him. I didn't know where like
He stood.
they were gonna do with like how they were gonna write him, what his like role was gonna be, which is pretty cool. Like I feel like I don't get that a lot with
Yeah, I
series.
felt
Like
like
you
he
always
was gonna
kind
be
of get
like final villain, you know?
Right.
at the
yeah,
end.
yeah, or some kind of like his motive would be something different, but his motive is surprisingly simple. Even though he's not a simple guy, it's cool. He's just like
Mhm.
Yeah,
weird
he has
little
the
like
Aaron Yeager, you
yeah.
know?
He's
Yeah.
he's kind of like
he wants to
he's
kill
kind
all
of a
monsters.
like all the characters are well written, but they're not like super complicated. And Capper's not super complicated. He's just like a wild card. Like it's just like an interesting
Yeah.
dynamic in the story. It's cool.
And I think it's also interesting to see, like, hey, all of the characters have their own motivations that are obviously opposing each other, but none of them are really evil, you know?
Yeah.
Even
Yeah, no, yeah.
even the lion, the demon, like, isn't really evil. He has a desire and he wants to work towards
Yeah,
it.
I was gonna say. Well, yeah. I mean, not to get ahead of ourselves, but that's kind of the whole theming. Is like you eat to survive. That's like the most human or whatever. The most like down to our core creature thing we do is we survive and we eat to survive. Whatever we eat, we do it. We need it, you know.
Mhm.
And like I like how they play the idea. It's like not just food. Like, we also eat the things we want. Like, we want these things and we want it and we'll do anything to get it, kind of thing. Just
Yeah.
like food. Like, it's cool. Very cool. Makes a lot of sense in the grand scheme of like, what this series is,
Right.
delicious in dungeons. Dungeon food.
During that entire Kabu Lios scene, there's also like dog elf, but
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
it doesn't
Jan,
entirely
Jan.
matter. But I liked it.
He's good.
I want it to be a Borzoi. I don't think it really is, but I kind of want it to be one.
Gently do it for you.
Oh wow.
I just like the design more than anything else.
Yeah. So I think in one of the like extra chapters in between, like Lios has problems with him.
Oh,
He's like, oh, that's so cool. You became like part monster. And then he's like, yeah, but I just wanted the ears though. I just wanted to be cute dog boy.
hmm
And then Lios is like, that's disgusting. like Lios would hate like
Furries.
anime cat girls. No, he
he
likes
would love
furries. He's like, you're
furries.
not
yeah,
going
yeah.
animal enough.
He'd
Oh,
hate
true, true.
anime girl, like actual anime.
Yeah,
cat
he
girl.
would. Yeah, he would hate anime.
He would
cat
hate
girls.
like anime cat girls with like just the cat ears and also human ears.
He'd play as a
that.
Hrothgar in Final Fantasy 14, which is like the lion people, but he would hate like Makotes,
Yes,
which are like
definitely,
the...
absolutely, absolutely, 100%.
He would be like, you're just a cat for the aesthetics. You're not doing any of the cat things.
Yeah, it's true. So, like, who the heck is it? Is it the orc? Yeah, it's the orcs that have tied up Shiro and the other Namari and the other people. Or no, not Namari.
Yeah. No, not Mari. What's her face? I don't remember her name. She's like
Girl.
Kabru's girl. Or girl who has a crush on Kabru, but Kabru's too gay to
Yeah,
really
he's too gay.
do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look at her name. Rin.
Oh, Rin.
Wow, she
Okay.
has a very basic name.
Yeah. And like Namari's doing her own thing with the gnome guy, and then all of a sudden they realize they're in the same
Yeah.
spot because like the dungeon is changing. And yeah, now everybody knows that there is a new Lord of the Dungeon. They assume for a long time that it's Lios, but then it's very obvious it's Marcil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, once they start seeing the monsters, they're like, oh, this doesn't look like
It's not
something Lios would make.
Lios. Yeah. Yeah. Oh god, and there's just so many terrifying images of lions on eating everyone.
Yeah. And basically everyone decides they have to team up, except for Flamella, who's just angry and wants to stab everyone.
Yeah.
She's mad. And
Whenever-
she has whatchamacallit? Unlimited Blade Works, yeah.
Yeah, Unlimited
That's her
Blade
power,
Works.
yeah.
Whenever I see the name Flamella written, I want it to be like Pamela, like Flamela.
Flamella. Maybe it is. I don't know.
I don't know. It's probably not
I've
because
never
it's
seen,
stupid, but
I don't know. We'll watch the anime. Maybe her name is Flamella.
yeah, we'll see.
Maybe it's Flamela.
Flamela. I just thought it was like Flamela.
Maybe it's Flamula. I don't know.
Flamula. Yeah.
Yeah, Flamula.
I don't know. Yeah, everyone. You're right. Everyone like splits up into groups and has like a plan of what to do.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Marcil gets busy protecting Fallon by freezing her.
Yeah.
Oh yes, yeah.
Freezing her body with a
Freezes
little
her
Jack
in
Frost.
ice.
And then also summons like a copy of her like dead dad, which is kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can tell it's like getting to her head immediately. It's like just impossible not to, where it's like she's starting to kind of feel the power and do some weird stuff.
And she, like, of course it's her desire, but the demon is like, oh, I did that for you because you needed it.
Yeah, it's literally like anything you want, even if it's the slightest thought in your brain will appear.
It'll just happen.
Yeah, because basically the demon is cultivating your desires. He wants you to desire more and more until you have like huge, huge desires. Chop on them.
Spooky.
Yep. The more he gives them, the more desires they have.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. And oh my god, what the heck?
And that's why he makes a deal with Marcil, because Marcil's desire is so big to like have all the race in the world have the same age or like the same lifespan.
Yeah. They Lios and Party fall into the water and are drowning, but it's okay because Lios uses water walk and they just ping pong across the water.
Oh yeah.
It's a very silly visual.
They get caught by a ton of familiars that form into like a giant flock of birds that look like a big bird.
Oh yes, yeah. That part's cool.
And there's like little mushrooms carrying all their gear.
And so they get back geared up.
Yeah.
They get captured. And they're like, well, remember the whole parasite thing? Now we're the parasites.
Yeah.
Inside of the big bird.
Yeah, and they make the people controlling it throw up.
Yeah.
Because it's
all those poor kids, all those poor elf kids, they're not even like, you know, they're like canaries in training.
Yeah.
They're forced to do this.
Oh god.
Yeah. But then they get eaten by the cute sea serpent thing.
Yeah. Or it's a Quetzalcoatl.
Yeah, oh, you're right. It's a Quetzalcoatl. Yeah.
Quetzalcoatl.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, they all get eaten. All the canaries freak out. I feel bad for them, actually.
Yeah, they all freak out. Like, they did not deserve that.
Yeah.
And the party has to get like shit out.
Yeah,
they're like, oh, I guess we gotta get pooped out. I was like, no.
The tiny little poop hole.
It had to happen in one time.
That was funny.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Meet up with Marcil, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Marcil basically wanted to bring them over. They do get baths pretty immediately before any hugs happen.
Yeah.
But Marcil is like, okay, but to protect you guys, I'm going to trap you guys in this room now.
Yeah.
You can't leave.
Yeah.
And the doppelganger of my dead dad is going to keep an eye on you guys.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she just like locks them in the room, and Dad is like, no, can't leave anyway.
Yeah, she puts them in timeout. She grounds them.
Yes.
Yeah, and she kind of explains her dream to them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do like that scene where they're all laughing, and she's just like, "That's how long I have to live," and they're all like,
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, isn't it crazy? 1,000 years, but that's like how long? So, like, the goal is to make the dungeon envelop the entire world for her.
Because it's the only way she can get her wish to come true.
Yeah.
Because the dungeon only affects things inside of it.
Yeah.
Gotta make the dungeon big.
So the demon tries to, like, make a deal with Lios. Like, you also become the dungeon master, the other DM. You got a co-DM because Marcil doesn't give a shit about combat and monsters.
Yeah.
But it's like, for a little while about that anyway.
He's just so convincing. It's like the lion. He's very good at what he does.
Yeah.
Yeah, he could, man. You can smell snake oil too, like a snake itself. That was like, as we were getting later on too, with the other like negotiations that happened with Laos. Like it was just like, damn. Everyone that comments below the chapter were just like, all right, I am very convinced by all this.
I understand. Yeah. Totally.
Also, they do finally cook ramen. You guys called it.
Yeah, they cooked ramen. For real ramen. It was good. Except I read later on that like the meal that Marcil actually had was like pasta, like more like Italian style pasta.
Yeah.
But they made what they could. Yeah.
But who doesn't love ramen?
Yeah, who doesn't love ramen? It's true. Yeah. Lios has like a nice like speech too to Marcil, like your dream means forcing the whole world to eat the menu that you designed. No one will have like their own like dreams. They have to like deal with your dream. So let's like not do that. Let's just go back to the surface and save filing that way.
Yeah.
But
it doesn't.
She says no.
She says no.
I do like the way she reacts though. It's very real. It's very much like she gets it. Like she doesn't want to become Thistle. She saw like what it means to be like a shitty dungeon master or whatever.
Right.
But she's like, but like if I don't do this, we're fucked. So like it's like this.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, or she's like, yeah, we got still like our mission is to save Fallon. So like she still needs to, you know, be the dungeon master to make that happen. But I don't know. It's like there's a decent like you don't feel like she's just completely lost it. It's like, oh no, I mean, I don't know. It's like it's so good. It's
also,
it's
if she like doesn't do
complicated.
this, they're all gonna get arrested too. So
yeah, exactly.
It's true. They'll all get arrested.
She's kind of in between a rock and a hard place. She sort of knows that. The guy is definitely convinced, or the lion is definitely convincing her to do like his idea of the right thing. But you know, it's like there is no straight answer to this, which I think is cool. Like, good conflict.
They do use the Clean Plate Club to defeat the doppelganger, though.
Yeah, Clean Plate Club. Yeah, they lick. Marcil licked the bowl clean so well that it was a mirror. It showed a reflection.
And apparently that defeats the doppelganger, which is actually an octopus, which is pretty cool. Again, like very creative.
Oh yeah.
Because octopi are very good with mimicry and camouflage and stuff.
I found it quite an interesting choice that like the doppelganger dad like actually like has all the memories of Marcil growing up, so he like explains how it was pretty difficult for her to grow up as like a half elf, because she would grow at such sporadic rates, and so she couldn't really have any friends. Things were hard for a long time for her. And her dad died because he got old, and so sad.
Oh yeah.
And they eat pork together. But it helped. I think it helped Lios because he like realized like, oh, now I understand what the dream was about. Earlier, the nightmare was about.
Yep. Yeah.
But that's like before the mirror happens.
Yeah.
And the doppelganger turns into a cephalopod.
Yes. Taco.
Yep.
As in the Japanese word for octopus. Taco.
Yeah.
Not a Taco Bell taco.
Yeah, Taco Bell taco.
Marcil starts carrying out her plan to expand the dungeon to the rest of the world.
Yeah.
And like the whole world starts freaking out. I love how the gnomes wear the pointy hats though. The gnome hats.
Yeah, they're just very stereotypical like cartoon gnomes.
Yeah.
It's funny though. I like it. Yeah, and the world gets like messed up.
Yeah.
The mayor of the island is like, I don't care anymore.
He's, just a useless human politician.
Yeah, he really is.
Like most of them.
Exactly.
But Marcil also summons like a ton of monsters to defend the party.
Yeah.
The rest of the people.
She starts like actually killing people too.
Yeah.
Yes, she does as they're fighting.
Oh, and this is where we get Goth Marcil.
She's
one full like villain arc now.
So
I
cool.
took all the screenshots of that.
Turns out Ariel's not into it.
Why?
I think it's funny more than anything.
It's very funny.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? I think it's so cool.
No, I think it's really cool, but I think it's cool and it's funny, you know?
I guess. I don't know. I just thought it was like, I remember being like jaw dropped. I was like, that's fucking gorgeous. It's so cool. Like, I love outfits like that. It's very, it's perfectly fantasy. It's perfectly like,
right.
Like it fits the mood of what's happening.
Dark
I don't know.
sorcerer.
And again, like Thistle's outfit was a similar deal. It was like very like big poofy shoulder thing and like almost looked like I don't know, it's like a clown, like a jester almost.
Yeah.
Hey, the idea of they're the ones who accepted the thing. They're the fool. Like it almost makes too much sense. Like
I just like how the rest of the party gives her shit for becoming edgelord, you know?
Yeah.
It's true. Everyone's like, oh, you're going through your hot topic phase, huh?
Yeah. Get you some friends who aren't afraid to, you know, speak out when you go through that phase.
Yep.
Yeah, you gotta have someone to stop you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she like kills Mithrin. She like blows his brains out.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know what she does. She just kind of
she's like
explosion in her.
Your head explode.
Your head explode. After he's like, hey, you're a marionette, you dummy.
Yeah.
And she's like, who's the dummy now?
You don't even have a brain. You're so dumb.
Yeah. So all of the canaries and the people trying to stop the dungeon from expanding are losing. But then a mysterious mushroom man saves them.
Yes, Mystery Mushroom Man.
Mushroom man.
Saves everyone. I freaking love the dog. It's cute.
Yeah.
He's just a dumb elf.
Well, technically it's mushroom men. It's Lios and Senshi and Chilchuk all dressed as mushroom. Dang, we should have gotten mushroom suits too.
That's okay.
I'm sorry.
I like how Izutsubi is not wearing one.
She's like, no.
Already monster.
Yeah,
so
she
doesn't
fits in.
Anyway. Yeah. But yeah, they basically got dressed up as mushrooms with mushroom bodies to sneak out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they snuck out.
Yeah.
And it worked. And then we have the start of the gag of, actually, I think the dungeon's power might be bad.
Not once but twice.
Oh my gosh.
Kabu's like, no shit, dude.
I told you. It was bad. I told you not to do it.
Gee, you think? Yeah. Yeah. Which is great. And that's Kabu like yells at him like, I tried to help you. Oh.
What a loser.
Right, what a loser.
Yeah.
So now we have to think about how to take the powers away from Marcil, the dungeon lord things. I keep trying to say dungeon master, even though it's not it. Lord of the dungeon.
It's basically the same thing.
Yeah, it is the same thing. Because the demon isn't like actually alive. But
it's just an infinite thing.
Yeah, it's just a thing. An infinite being.
But because he's infinite, he doesn't have desires because he's an infinite.
Yeah.
So that's why he wants to eat desires, because it's the one thing he doesn't have.
Yeah. And then it turns out Kensuke betrays Lios because it's just lying all along.
Why are you lying?
Yeah, he's lying.
He was lying.
I don't think. Is it?
I mean,
I think it's weird. It's more like the lion is able to possess it.
Yeah. I think that's more so what it is.
Part of a dungeon, yeah.
Yeah. It's not Kensuke's actual fault. Kensuke didn't actually betray. It's okay.
I love that. When she and the lion's like say, "What's your favorite food?" and he's like, "Cheesecake," and like Kabu's like, "It's not even monster."
It's not even monster. This whole time.
See, I knew that's why I didn't like Laos, because he likes cheesecake.
What?
Yeah, I don't like cheesecake.
Actually, I don't actually like cheesecake either.
What? I don't even like cream cheese very much, but I do like cheesecake.
No.
I think it's just too much. Too much
cream.
Too much cream, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
It has to be a good cheesecake. It has to have stuff in it. I feel like just a cheesecake is not great. It's fine, but it's sweet and good. But if you have like a nice big chunk of chocolate cheesecake or some kind of, you know, chocolate chunky cheesecake or something, peanut butter cheesecake. It's good.
Oh man,
So
I
is
want
this
one
like
right
UNC
now.
ship? When does it no longer become cheesecake? If you add those ingredients.
No, as long as there's cream cheese in it, I think it's like as long as it's like formed that way and it has
you
the
can
cream
have different
cheese
toppings. It's
Yeah.
like just like you can add stuff to a pizza and still a pizza.
I don't mind the way they make it in Japan because it's not as sweet, but yeah, for the most part, I don't like it.
Yeah, thing.
Yeah.
Like comma Japan.
Thing, comma Japan.
Speaking of wishing for all these delicious desserts, that's kind of how they like make it up to Marcil. Make it up to her.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
they get her to start like again. This is such a good fusion of like, hey, they need to confront Marcil, but they also need to get up high, and it's a like series about fantasy and food. So they get her to wish for food and stuff, so that they can climb up there.
Like, what do you want to eat? Pie? Just like
it's
pie.
A good fusion of like the themes of the story.
Pie flavor.
You know.
Yeah.
It's all fit using food.
She spawns in the pie and it just like collapses on top of Fallon too.
Yeah.
It's just
like,
like poking out.
Yeah.
It's great. Yeah, because like the tower is like just black, but with her like being emo and Fallon like dead, frozen in the thing, which I just thought was funny. I don't know. It's very befitting of the scene, but it also just makes the giant fucking pie falling down funnier.
It's so cute too, the way like they're trying to get her to just calm down. Chuck's like, I'll introduce you to my family, and she's like, I get to meet his family.
That's all I ever wanted.
That's all I ever wanted. Yeah. And,
I guess this is kind of like the one scene where Izutsume kind of talks about what she wants.
Yeah.
And she like says like, I'm just gonna hang out with Yod and travel the world, I guess.
Yeah. I did think that entire scene is nice too, because Senshi has just been like silently supporting for quite a few chapters, and he's like, no, I'll make you a pie. It'll be the best pie. Trying to actually encourage her, which shows like Senshi's like still the newcomer, but really cares about all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because they're like, I really, Senshi's the best, because they really just like took him in really like with open arms, and he probably, I guess somebody who was traveling alone forever, he probably was like so relieved to have people to feed and everything.
Yeah.
You could tell he has kind of like a fatherly instinct too, where he like wants to like help people like just instinctually.
Yeah.
So
gotta
like
protect the youngins.
Yeah, I think it's just like in his like, you know, his.
It's just who he
blood.
is. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just cool to like, you know, he doesn't show it, but I think he loves the group more than anybody else.
Yeah.
Like,
I think you're right.
Yeah. Like,
he wants everyone to grow up and do well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also like how Lios like says like, if I made the world, I would not put any cephalopods in it because I hate them.
Yeah.
Like, damn, you hate them?
Yeah.
They're pretty gross looking.
Yeah, they are.
He got stabbed with a cephalopod spermatocite. So like, yeah.
He was the dummy that ate the parasite, though. That's his own.
I know. I know. But you know, sometimes you get like food poisoning from that like one restaurant, and you're like, oh, I hate that like cuisine forever. Even though it wasn't that cuisine's fault, it was just that one restaurant or that one meal.
Right. No, I do understand.
Yeah. But he finally gets through to Marcil, though. He's basically saying, like, well, if you really had all that power, you could make versions of us that do agree with you.
Yeah.
But that's not what you really want, is it?
Right.
And shows, like, how corrupt the power is.
It's true. I like that Marcil is still, like, kind of a busybody and gets very excited about the prospect of meeting Chilchuk's family.
Yeah. She's great.
It's funny. He sold out his own family. But yeah.
They also talk about like, they kind of have to accept death, and that's actually what this series is all about. Is like accept that you have to kill or be killed. And
yeah. Well, it's
at some point you're gonna die. Circle of life thing.
Yeah.
And it's also it's so beautifully ties into the idea of like what we do for our survival. Like Marcil is here trying to make it so people survive as long as like that's what they've been doing the whole time. Like that's literally what they've been doing. They've been eating. They've been living off the land. Like, did she not realize that? Like,
yeah, you're right.
so cute
and
too.
also...
They're all like, Well, sorry, what?
No, it's funny. No, you're totally right. Like surviving and also accepting that we will die someday is like the biggest theme for sure. But it's also like having a balanced diet regularly.
Yeah, I thought that part's so.
Daily rhythms.
This part almost got me when I was reading it. I was like, I'm gonna fucking cry. I'm like, this is so sweet.
Yeah, like living a balanced life.
Yeah.
It's just cute. You see, he's terrified of the prospect of living a balanced life, though. If you look at
she's in the corner, like, what the fuck?
What the fuck is that? I have to eat vegetables, ew.
And Marcil, like, breaking down. It's so
It's
sweet.
very cute.
Yeah.
She's just crying, like, I get it now.
That chapter cover is really cool. Of, like, Lios and the lion.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Oh, gosh, yeah, they're, like, mind melding.
No.
Yeah, everything just gets very, like, cool looking from now on. I mean,
yeah.
it already was, but there's like few scenes that are just like mind blowing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but yeah, first it's just crying.
Yeah.
Oh, now
I
it's
also
not.
like how in the extra chapter, they talk about like other like weird monsters like jackalopes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then Lios is like, those aren't real. And then everyone else is like, yeah, they are. Like, there's one right there.
There's one right
And
there.
they're like, you just don't want to admit that like Marcil actually knew about a monster that you didn't.
Yeah. Like, dude. It's great. So yeah, what does Marcil do? She is supposed to stop the monsters.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah. She gets the demon to possess Lios' sword, Kensuke, and then she closes the book around it to trap him.
Yeah, that's what she does.
Yeah.
Lios is like, my fucking hand.
Temporarily, he can be trapped. Yeah, but his head is still trapped in there too.
My hand, yeah. That's
they have this like magical tome, this ancient tome, and they just keep disrespecting it. It gets used as like a heating pad, as like a chopping, like a weapon. Now it's just like stuffed around someone's hand.
Right.
This rip of this whatever these scans of this comic or whatever, they have like the Daydream Hour thing cut in between. It's just like the most beautiful art ever. Like,
it's
like,
really nice.
It's so impossibly. They have like a little thing where it shows how all the characters put on a mask, like with like the longer ears and the dogs and the cat. Like, it's really cute.
It is very cute.
It's like one drawing of like Fallon, and she's got a shirt on that's just like a skeleton in like a stomach, like chilling. It's too real.
It is. I like that when things get tough and they don't actually know how to stop becoming the Lord of the Dungeon. Lios is just like, hey! Does anyone know how?
Yeah.
And now he asks for help.
Yeah. Well, he asks for help, but he says, like, I need your help eating Fallon. Well, he doesn't say it that way. He's like, you're all going to have to, like,
have a meal with me.
Have a meal with me after this. Yeah. And then they get swallowed by the giant demon.
Yeah, everyone gets
I like how they're like, Kabu's like, so this is what the end of the world feels like.
Yeah. The lion is crazy, though, that art, when it's like coming out of the water.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah. It's anatomically correct demon.
Yeah, literally. It's a good way to word it. It's like these are like perfect depictions of demons, I think.
Yeah.
Having them be just like animals, very biblically correct in a way, and like it's very cool.
Yeah.
It is very cool. But yeah, you're right, everyone gets eaten. It ate them.
I kind of get to see the demon's like backstory of how it came to this world and understood like desire.
Yeah.
How interesting it was in like the desires of people, because it's come from a dimension where, it has infinite things.
It's like almost kind of sad to watch like these, like, the creature gets so desperate and having to start manipulating people into getting it and everything.
Yeah. Yeah, because for a while it genuinely just wanted people to experience like the different emotions that it can't feel. And like the happiness and like just all the entire spectrum. And also I think this also drives home like our innate desire to eat, because that's what it finds out, like, oh wow, the desire to eat is tasty.
Yeah. And it also learns that, like, if I fulfill people's wishes, they'll desire more things of me, and then I get to take more of their desires.
Oh man.
Yes.
These next chapters are so cool.
You're right.
But even then, like, at some point, I guess, like, the ancient civilization basically said, I want you to destroy the entire world. And yeah, then the ancient civilizations crumble.
Oh, okay, I can do that. And then he did it.
That's what you want.
Yeah, that's what you want. And it kind of drives home that it doesn't really at this point it has enough desires and has absorbed enough human emotions that it understands. Like, I think that doing, like, destroying the whole world would not, or covering the whole world would not be ideal, but it doesn't care because it wants the desires so bad.
It's developed a desire to have desires.
Yeah.
To eat desires.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fascinating. Oh my gosh.
Sounds desperate.
Yeah, he's desperate.
Yeah.
It's spooky. So Lios decides to, like, okay, well, I guess I'm going to make the deal with this demon.
Yeah.
And yeah, he has, like, a very noble plan, I suppose. Like, I'll do everything correctly. I'll make sure to just accept it and then wish for a peaceful world and wish the demons leave humans alone. Yeah, totally. That's totally what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Right,
Good idea, guys.
Yeah.
I'm glad they all believe in him, though.
But he tries to, wish, like, the demon away, but then the demon's like, but that's not what you really want. You can say that, but that's not what you really want.
Yeah. And before he does that, before he goes and does all that, he gives everyone, like, a job, but tells Izumi to, like, kill him if he's weird. He's being weird.
That scene of, like, him eating the lion and, like, it, like, coming out of his back and everything, it's so cool. It's like, it's cool body horror stuff.
Yeah, it is pretty body horror.
Again, it's perfect because it's supposed to be pretty terrifying, because it's like, this is somebody who's, like, completely lost it, you know?
Yeah. So I wasn't expecting to see somebody eat ass, but... Okay.
But also, Lios kind of gets confronted with his, like, autistic self, and they're basically saying, like, the demon tells him, hey, you love monsters so much because you can't understand humans, because you are so bad socially and you, like, have been rejected so much by other humans. That's why you like monsters, because they're free from that.
Yep. I don't know. I like, kind of knew that like, he wasn't going to be able to just be like, yep, everything's good now. But
yeah, of course.
Of
but
course not.
He, like, trusted in his friends to help
him
out. So
yeah.
So, man, there's a shot of them falling, and Senchi's whole ass, dick, and balls is just like... That's awesome.
It's okay. He's the prettiest character.
He's the fan service character.
He literally is. It's equality, finally.
Yeah.
The equality, finally. But yeah, the conversation ends, and Lios, quotation marks, chops the head off of the lion.
Yeah.
And then Izumi murders him. Lios.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Izumi immediately realizes that.
It's like Lios.
The Lios that came out is, like, not the real Lios, but possessed by the demon. She has that sense. But it doesn't matter because
he just attaches
the demon
his
just
head
puts
again.
his head back on.
Horrifying. Yeah. Oh my god, the freaking edit of Saturn eating his child with Lios' face at the bottom. No!
God.
Sorry. These scans. Okay. So... Yeah, I do like that everyone's like, you really think we're gonna believe that it's Lios after you just put your head back on?
Yeah.
Like,
it's
yeah.
me, guys. It's
me,
Lios.
guys. It's Lios. I can always put my head back on even if you slice it off. I'm like a Lego.
Yeah.
And also a gigantic chimera appears.
Yes.
straight out of Lios's drawings.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
but
as soon
is
as they realize it, they're like,
Yeah.
uh-huh.
So logically, oh shit.
There's so many surreal visuals in these next few parts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, super surreal.
But Lios had a backup plan, it seems. Lios like wished for himself to become this gigantic chimera monster.
Mm-hmm.
And also wrote in a secret note, has the ability to eat desires.
Yeah. Yeah, his secret backup thing.
I love how they look at the monster, then they look at the notes, and they like all pass it around.
Oh yeah.
It's like, take a look at this.
I like Panadol is just like, who? What? I don't get it. And then Marcil was like, it's Lios, guys.
That's
The giant monster's Lios.
Just so you know. He's such an
Of
idiot.
course, one of the heads is like a dog head. He loves those.
Yep.
You know?
He loves dog.
And of course, it had 3 heads. Like he's talked about how much he wanted like a 3-headed monster before.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good. Yeah,
It's
like
funny. It's
the
great.
demon makes all the copies of himself or whatever to like attack the monster and fuck it up and rip out its eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
And eat it. It's eat or be
Yeah.
eaten, you know?
Eat or be eaten. Yeah, like Mithrin tries to stop like Lios, but it doesn't really go well.
Lioness.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
yeah, and suddenly like,
Chimera, the real Lios in the Chimera body does like rip apart the Quetzalcoatl.
Yeah.
And starts fighting back. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
no.
like it's the real final boss, like the true end boss.
Yeah, the true end boss. He like rips out of the Codal,
Mm-hmm.
which doesn't bleed, it just has like flowers pop out of it.
Yeah.
It does look cool, this Chimera, but it's also kind of fucked up.
it's intense.
It's kind of
Yeah.
kind of over designed.
A little over designed, Lios. I don't know.
Yeah.
First
I
OC.
didn't go to art school, okay?
Yeah, as a
Yeah.
character designer, it's fine.
Yeah.
Just gonna say, yeah, all like the hands come out of the sky, right?
Yeah, to pull people into infinity. We learned like that all the demons from all the dungeons are actually the same demon. They're just all part of the same infinite void.
Yeah, they're all part of the same demon void thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I took a screenshot of, there was a close-up of the lion, and if you guys notice the eyes, you know how they look kind of like a goat's,
Yeah.
because like goats
yeah.
usually symbolize like demons and stuff.
Yeah.
The smaller part of the eye, the black part, and then the part within that were all made as an infinity sign.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
It's
was
pretty
like,
pretty
hey.
neat,
Good
right?
freak. It's a good fusion of those two ideas of like the weird goat eyes. And
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And like
So cool.
infinity. Or yeah.
Yeah, so and then eventually the demon Laos is like, wait, like where is it? Like you can't like, and Laos ate his desires or whatever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that part's so cool. Like goes inside of him and Laos is like eating it. He's like, I just wanted to see what it tastes like. Like you're constantly talking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're always talking about it.
Ah, it's so
He's
perfect.
like, oh, it's so rich.
It's very
Yeah,
cool.
he's
Delicious.
so pissed. Like he's like, stop. Like,
Fruit gusher.
yeah.
It is. I don't know. I did think it was scary as like as the lion, the demons were like eating, like taking all the people. I was like, oh no, they're dead. But it's
Yeah.
okay. But I was scared for a minute
Cold
there.
into infinity.
Yeah, Laos eating the lion, eating his
Yeah.
desires.
It's always been about this: to eat, to survive, to live means
Yep.
to eat. Eat means
Yes.
to survive. To survive means to live. It's such a artistic. It's like almost like a Greek sculpture, like this final shot of him like devouring the lion.
Yeah, it's so
yeah,
cool.
it really
Yeah,
is.
it's like like his half demon self. Like, oh,
Yeah.
that was pretty intense. I would
What a
get
work
that
of art.
framed. Yeah, I would get that
Totally.
framed in my house.
Hang that in a museum. Damn.
How did you feel about Infinite Lios for a little while?
Oh, all of them.
He just barfs out Lios.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny. I mean, it's a good idea on the lion's part, honestly, but it didn't work out for him.
They also, it's just cool that it like goes to the same idea they established earlier. It's like when you eat something, it doesn't come back. You know, it's like, so it's like him eating the desire, like eating him is like, you know, him leaving forever, and it's like, dang.
Yeah, it's a hard
poetic.
It's a hard rule.
Yeah.
It's very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's great how important eating is. It's like so important. Like it never became less of a central theme.
Yeah, I like how it's kind of like they play it around the idea. It's like it's what every creature has to do. So it's like the most, you know, the thing that we all understand equally, monsters and humans. It's like why there's such like a perfect, like, you know, balance to the world in a way. And it's cool. It's just such a good theme. It's like I'm so glad it wasn't just like at first it's just like, you know, you come off as so like, yeah, funny little story about eating in a dungeon, but it's like, man, like it's such a heavy theme. That's why, I mean, like we'll get to it, but the final line of this manga is like damn powerful. Like, oh, it like hits like a truck.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
Gosh, yeah, and as the lion is like dying, I guess.
Or it's not that he's dying; he's leaving because he
leaving.
doesn't have any desire anymore. He doesn't want to do anything anymore.
Yeah. He curses Lios with the curse of his greatest desire will never be granted. Yeah. So he's worried that that Valiant will never be able to come back to life after that. Since we've been doing this for an hour and a half, do you want to take a quick break and then we can go over? We don't have that many chapters left, honestly.
I was gonna say it's pretty much just like the basically the epilogue of the series.
Yeah.
Or whatever the ending.
Not too long, but there's a bunch of stuff that happens in the epilogue.
Yeah, it's true.
If you want to keep going, that's totally fine. I just thought I'd offer.
No, we can. If you want to take a break, we can take a break.
Okay.
Yeah, we can take a break.
Okay.
Yeah,
just a few minutes.
Pick up a stretch.
All right.
Grab a snacky.
All right. I'll see you all soon. Don't get devoured by the lion.
Yeah. Or do. It seems kind of.
Yeah,
if you know what you're doing.
If you're into it, that's fine. I'm not gonna judge.
Well, it seemed to work out for him.
Yeah, it worked out.
I'll leave the rest of the party to judge you.
Be right back, everyone. Hello, we've returned.
We are back.
We are hydrated and maybe have snack. I don't know.
I was eating carrots.
Nice.
I had my desire. I was eating it.
You need to eat your desire. Not gushers.
I wish.
Right. Actually,
I feel like she would not design them like that if gushers were a thing in Japan.
Right. Probably not. Okay. So now we have basically the last like just few chapters.
Few chapters, yeah.
Yeah, but there's a lot that happens in them. So our system share. What was I gonna say? What is all this? Oh yeah, everything starts falling apart. The dungeon starts falling apart, and then Yad starts yelling on Isutsumi's neck. And it's like, oh, you can give me my body, and if you give me my body, I can show you to the exit. But they have to give him his dad's body because like Yad's body got fucked.
Yeah.
But with rubble.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I don't think we talked about it earlier, but like, the reason like the king of the dungeon appeared was that he used his son's body to like go up to the top of the dungeon and say like, oh, you need to come defeat the dungeon, or like the whole premise of the dungeon.
Oh, right, you're right.
Yeah.
It's
but
true.
because of that, like, now his body is technically empty and without a soul, just why God can possess it.
Mm-hmm. So all the people that were in the Golden Country, is that what it was called?
Yeah.
They can all escape. Finally. They can finally escape the dungeon. With Thistle, even.
Yeah.
And they do. They do make it to the end. They think that they're going to turn into dust as soon as they leave, but they were just doing it out of the goodness of their hearts to, like, save the people who ended their like, perpetual Golden Country living. But they're okay, actually. For now.
I also like we see all the monsters running out too. They're all like scooting, dashing.
Yeah, they're all scooting.
Sprinting. Even the mandragoras.
Yeah, everyone's trying to like survive.
Yeah.
And then, because the demon has left this world, everyone is also fine. Everyone's fine. Everyone gets spit out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Namari describes it as like feeling like everything was amazing, like everything was warm, and she had a total sense of fulfillment. And then as soon as she was like, wow, I can finally just let go and not feel stressed, she heard, I don't need you anymore, and they got spit back out. Oh. But I guess that's how it goes. Because eternal fulfillment is not a very exciting life, so it's probably better that it didn't last that way. Where's Lios? Lios is somewhere around. Oh, and they find him with the bell. With the ringy bell.
Oh, yes. Yeah. I forgot about that.
Oh, yeah. So this, like, Shiro gave him the bell and was like, ring it when you're in trouble. And then Shiro's like, okay, it's been ringing nonstop since I gave it to him because he just, like, left it on and forgot about it.
Yeah.
And then, like, Shiro rings it. And then Lios is like, huh? This thing is ringing. And then they're like, oh, he just realized how this
realized that,
like,
yeah.
Lios just realized that he still has his bell on him.
Right.
Figured it out.
Yeah. And everyone's like, oh, I'm gonna punch him. But they do find him. And they find Falling, too. She's like still encased in ice.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, they find, and he's like hiding.
Oh, yeah. Lios is hiding that because he thinks that everyone's angry at him.
Yeah. Which they kind of are, but also not really.
Yeah. He also saved them.
Yeah, they might be mad, but you're still their savior.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you are, asshole. And they all hug him. Very cute.
Oh, yes, yeah.
That's about right.
He's like, now let's all eat my sister together.
Yeah. It's like, you said you were gonna eat a meal with me. Well, the meal is my sister.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, what the fuck, bro?
They all kind of agree. So they all...
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't agree immediately, but gradually everyone, like, starts to help out.
Yeah. And even if they're vegetarian, they can help cook and serve at the very least.
Yeah, they can cook and serve. The people of the Golden Country are the first to start helping out. And then all of the friends arrive. The closer friends plus Kabu arrives.
Yeah.
Then all the
Mithrin
orcs
uses
arrive.
teleportation magic to help, and the orcs arrive, and the townsfolk.
Yeah. And Senshi gets like thrown like all this food stuff from the orcs on top of him. Poor Senshi. But he's excited because he gets all these like different kinds of ingredients from all the different cultures that are coming together. So they can make all kinds of different meals.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Lios declares, we're gonna eat you up to Fallen. And then they have to convince Mithrin or Kabu convinces Mithrin to like help out because they need to like separate the dragon parts from the falling parts.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kabu and his crackhead roommate, you know, always sticking up for each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, little recovering junkie.
Yeah, literally.
Captain. Yeah. Yeah, and his like desire was to like defeat the demon, but now the demon is gone. He's like, I guess I'm done now.
Yeah, and he kind of realizes he's sort of like doesn't know what to do with his life, and it was like such a good scene with Senshi being like, "Hey, you guys have like any scraps to like the vegetables? Like they go like you can do a lot of those things." And he was explaining what he could do with them. And then he walks away, and Mithrin's like crying, being like, "I was so happy to hear him say that." And it's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Even a recovering junkie like me.
Even me. I can be useful too.
Yeah.
There's still things to learn.
He does help slice the top part of Fallon off from the rest of the body.
Yeah, and then he sliced so many little cubes of meat for everyone.
Yep. It's good.
Do like yeah, and Izutsume has a little bit of like a crisis of like she doesn't really know what to do either because she's like, yeah, well, like where do I go from here? She's like, I'm free. I love that idea. She's like, freedom, and then she just immediately the next panel is just her being like, hey, you need help, Senshi?
Yeah, what do I do now?
It's cute. It's like, you know, it very much like a cat. Like you give a cat freedom, they'll come back. Like you know, they think they want to be free, but she loves people. She wants to be with people. She wants to help people.
Yeah.
I don't know where it's described, but I did see, I don't know if it's one of like the journal things, like the sketchbooks or somewhere in the actual manga where it shows that Izutsume actually likes Senshi the most.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I think it's like Senshi's the hardest on her, you know.
Yeah.
Also, like she's a cat. He's the one that feeds her.
Yeah,
so,
it's
like,
true.
it
It's
makes
true.
a lot of sense.
But he sleeps on, or she sleeps on Chilchuck because apparently he's the warmest.
Oh yeah. Funny idea.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true.
I love how she keeps asking people what they're gonna do, and they keep responding like what they're doing with their food. She's like it just cuts to like Chilchuck being like, huh? Like me? Like, oh, I'm gonna make like sausages out of the blood and small intestines. It's like, no, I meant like after.
No, I meant, like what you're gonna do. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a cute like little detail.
Yeah.
They're
I like
so focused on doing this.
The poor aside with the orc girl, they're like, we're gonna marry you out to Lios, and she's like, oh, I don't wanna.
Do it for my country. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. I'm so sorry. I'm too gay for this.
Like, I don't want to do it.
Yeah. And then she's like,
yeah.
But they do make peace with the orcs.
They do.
A new world. And Lios basically becomes a new ruler of the Golden Country, the island.
Yes.
Because like no one wants this stupid old governor back.
No, for sure not.
Because he was kind of useless.
There's discussion that Marcil has to go to like be monitored by the elves.
Oh yeah.
Like not prison, but kind of prison.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because she did the dark magic
And
stuff.
she did the evil magics. Yeah. And I do like that Marcil really loves Izutsume. Like you could tell she's like they have a nicer connection.
Yeah.
Like don't leave, but Marcil just kind of likes all her friends, which is good. I mean, they all like each other a lot, which is just very sweet to see.
Yeah, and same with like I like how Izutsume goes to see what everyone is up to. Like she cares about everyone too.
Yeah.
I also like how Shuro like is like going through like this whole crisis of eating fallen.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, it's my own fault for like not trusting Lios, and I have to like live with this now. And then Inutade sees him eating. She's like, "You're racing. I'm gonna eat faster than you, though, young master."
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's lovely.
Yeah, they're all eating together. It's like such a perfect like the theme of eating, even though it changed throughout the series and never left. The series like knew what it wanted to be.
Yeah.
It wanted to be about eating and like different aspects of eating.
Yeah, it really shows everything because I think something that I kept having drilled in my head in school because I took a lot of literature courses was like if like an author writes a scene where the characters are eating together, it shows that the characters are deepening their relationships with each other. But if like an entire series is about eating meals with each other, like one, all the Lios' party, they all really, really care about each other. But it's more than just like making friends or deepening a relationship. There's like a purpose to this eating. It's to save Fallen. And like it's actually like a huge like everything is just a big circle because like even the premise is just to save Fallen.
Yeah.
It's just so nice to see.
Yeah, they're able to do a good job of like double meaning all this stuff where it's like you know, eating is the theme, but also eating is the conflict a lot of the time, like is the solution to the conflicts a lot of the time. It's cool.
Yeah, it's neat.
Yeah, Thistle wakes up with what's his face? The guy.
Yad.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she calls or sorry, they call him Lord Delgal.
Yeah, because he's in Delgal's body.
Yes.
And yeah, all the citizens of the Golden Country are only like temporarily here.
They will fade away.
Mm-hmm.
They call Lios King Lios Devourer of all things horrible.
Yep.
I guess.
Yes.
Because that's what he does.
He eats.
He eats.
So yeah, it kind of explains that they ate for like days, right? It says like
Yeah, they eat for like a week straight.
Yeah.
And it like helps people out because like people that were their like lands were fucked up by the dungeon, or just people that like couldn't find work or whatever. Everyone can go and help eat. Like it draws in a crowd.
And for some reason they're all like stuffed, but Lios just keeps eating. And they're like, how do you just keep eating? He's like not getting bigger either. He's just like can't stop.
Yeah, he wants to save his sister.
I thought that was the curse, like that he would never be full again, or that he would never be satisfied.
Yeah, no.
It is, I think.
It's
no,
not.
It's not.
I mean, that might be the real reason why. That might be the real curse, but that's not what they say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, like, Lios, he inherits the island, but it turns out the island, like, was actually just a sunken part of a huge continent, and now he's the ruler of this huge continent.
He's like, oh
yeah.
shit.
I did not sign up for this.
Yeah. And then they, after everything has been eaten, they finally are able to try to revive Falling. And they have nice...
Also, like,
oh, sorry, go ahead.
Senchi's saying, like, the cream stew is finished, like, at the very end, like, the final dish, and everyone is like at the end of Thanksgiving where no one wants to eat anything.
Yeah.
You just see him say it again, but angry this time.
Yes, hooray!
Yeah. I also do like how they show them getting Fallon back. You know?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, that scene is so good too. And like you see Fallon like smelling the food, and it shows her like eating it, and it's like going through her stomach and everything, and all of her like veins in her stomach. And the demon is there, and she's like, "Is it good? Like, do you want more?" And he's like, "Huh. Doesn't seem like the right path to me, but whatever, go ahead." And it's like, that's so cool.
I do love how it's represented, like she can't move because the dragon's too big, but then it turns into a little baby.
Yeah.
And she devours it, you know, she eats that dragon part of her. And I like how even after she's healed, like she's still like a little bit of dragon.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she's got like on her legs. Yeah.
Yeah,
they're happy to see her.
I'm glad they draw her, or Odokokui draws her as cute as possible, because she doesn't appear very much.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like to me, but...
Also, like, maybe a bottom surgery, like, allegory?
Yeah, I mean, sure.
Possibly, I don't know.
It can be interpreted that way.
I do like when Senshi comes in and she's like thinking, she's like, Senshi! It's like, oh yeah, they did meet at one point.
Oh yeah, Senshi, remember me! It's cute. But yeah, like, when she wakes up, Lios wakes up first, and he's very happy. And they all hug, and over Marcil.
It's cute.
Yeah, it's very cute. But she has, like, dragon wing legs. Very cute.
Yeah,
too.
She's got little fangs too.
Yeah.
At the end. That's pretty much how it ends. And they have a little like, you know, thing talking about how
they have like an epilogue, and it's drawn in like a medieval.
I like that yield and like medieval monologuing type stuff.
Yeah. But no, the curse is that monsters are scared of Lios. Lios loves monsters so much, but the monsters will no longer.
Okay.
Yeah. Which is kind of also like, wait, that was your greatest desire, not saving your sister?
But to me, all
I guess it makes sense.
Yeah.
Because he also talks about, like, earlier, he, like, accepted that maybe they can't save
Yeah, he had already accepted that maybe.
Accepted her death.
Yeah, maybe the death is what it is, but...
Yeah. But yeah, like, the final line being, like, you know, like, meals are a special privilege of the living. In order to stay alive, we need to keep eating, so... It's like, let's eat. Like, what should we have today? It's like, that's beautiful. Like, genuinely beautiful. Like, the one thing that all living creatures share is, like, you know, you can use to bond with people, and, like, you know, oh, it's fucking cool.
Yeah. And it's, like, it's how you, like, often bond with, like, animals that you're taking in and anything. Like, everybody's got to eat.
Yeah.
I like how even in the medieval, like, drawings, though, Kabu and, like, Marcil are still there and, like, judging him with their faces.
Yes.
They're still judging him. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's great.
That's it.
That's Dungeon Meshi.
That's Dungeon Meshi.
Yeah.
Perfect ending to this series, I think. And it's like just such a perfectly wrapped up ending.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't like overstay its welcome and overcomplicate things. It's just
yeah,
great.
Yeah, it tells a very good story in under 100 chapters. It's great.
Yeah. Yeah, it's probably one of my favorites now, like manga wise.
Me too. I think also like growth wise, I think all of the characters did have a chance to grow. I think probably Izitsumi had the least growth though. And then Chilchuck also, not that much.
Yeah. Chilchuck learns to be a little bit less of a hard ass, but
yeah. But I think the rest of the characters have excellent growth. Like Senshi, with the whole hippogriff stuff, and
I think
Marcil and Lios.
In the interview that Ryokukui had like a week or so ago, she was like, Chilchuck does go home, but not necessarily to make up, just to like talk to his family.
Yeah.
So at least he does that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good. Actually, Realm, now that you're done, lay it on me. What do you think?
Well, I'm gonna.
You don't have to give the ratings or anything. I just
No. I'm just going to interpret like the screenshots that I took earlier. So like I said, I liked a lot of these themed foods on this third of the story. I thought that, like I said before, the lion guy is such a snake oil salesman. He's like too good at his job. Doing that. A lot of cover arts were really cool. Personally, my favorite chapter was 86.1 with all the art.
So, like in the scans, they have like various.
You should look that up.
Books.
It's called Daydream Hour. It's like a whole art book of her art like that. It's very cool.
Also, the Adventurers Bible, which is like little side stories about everyone.
Like I know we talked about it last time, but when they pan out to those big, really detailed panels, I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
Certainly, to finish up the big battle between everybody was creative enough, where I didn't think they were kind of pulling it out of their butt, and kind of fit into the theme of who the characters were, especially Laos, because like. He's still adult, but you know, he picked up enough along his journey to realize that like there are things about the lion himself that he has a weakness, even if he is like a demon of, infinite potential. Or
we're all animals.
We're all animals. Yeah.
Yes, I wasn't hit hard with the quick insert themes. Like I was like, oh wow, they're really like they kind of like went for it. With like the idea of like everyone dies and stuff. If I was reading that at 2 a.m., I'd be probably a little more mind blown. I'm like, okay. But
yeah, I think it ties together with the food stuff pretty well. It's like, eating is one of the most survival things we do, so.
Yeah.
And like they were pushed to the limits for survival. Like that's the whole thing. Even though it's like, oh, they made cool food, they were still like forced to eat the monsters because they had no other food.
It's true.
Survival this whole time.
Yes, I liked that they were able to tie in the idea of like even the beginning of like the whole idea of eating monsters is what you have to do, what they had to do here, and it really mattered that like I don't know, it's sort of like you need to appreciate the land that you work on. Like when people like say grace or something at like a table, they're like, oh, we're thankful for like this food. Like if they just went in with little to no idea of where their stuff really came from, like I guess essentially if Laos wasn't as much of a foodie, like a monster food, and a person who loves monsters as much as he does, I don't think they would have been able to resolve the conflict.
Yeah.
as easily as they did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
series
see
does a
that.
good job making you feel like somebody who like appreciating food is like beautiful because it's like, it is that thing we all share. So it's like Laos is like you get the feeling that like by the end people like Marcil who didn't really appreciate it do end up appreciating it because it's like you should like kind of thing. Um even like what's it called? Even Itsutsume who's like
Mm-hmm.
was very picky because she's a cat, but like you know
Yeah. And the
she was
only reason they win in the end is because um they eat.
Yeah, they eat.
Lios eats the desires of the demon.
mhm.
Yeah. It's cool. I love the commitment to the theme, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, works really good with the fantasy stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a good way to mix reality into fantasy, where it's perfectly recognizable enough where it's like, yeah, in a fantasy world, they also eat. Like, of course they eat. It's like, um, and again, it's just you can tell so many themes with that. It's just amazing how like food can be linked to stuff. All those themes of life and death and all that stuff, and you know, even like power like I remember when you first see like the highest powered people, the first thing you see is what they're eating
Mm-hmm.
because it helps immediately establish the like what they're eating is basically their class. And it's like I remember when I read that I was just like god damn. Kokui, god damn.
Mm.
That's some storytelling.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of like there's not really any show. I mean there is a little bit, but mostly she does a really, really creative job of showing us how the world works. And I think
Oh yeah,
that's
oh
really
my.
neat. Yeah.
I mean, the world building is one of my favorite parts about that series. It's like one of the coolest fantasy worlds because it's. I think it's so important with this stuff too. With a series that's only 100 chapters,
Yeah.
it's pretty vague for the most part. Like it establishes rules, but the rules are mostly rooted in reality. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's some things. Usually, whatever rules are being bent were exclusive to the dungeon, and like it was just a really smart way to do it because it made you understand what was happening, but not still have that like sort of that whimsy, that fantasy whimsy that like is why we read them in the first place, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Something
Yeah.
that like almost like if I'm comparing it to like something like Final Fantasy 14, like I love the fantasy world in this game, but I will say sometimes their mechanics are pretty complicated. And they demand a lot from you to understand, which works in an MMO where there's a million side quests to do and you are constantly like rewarded for engaging with them. But there's only 100 chapters of this manga, so like, and they're constantly telling a story, so they can't worry about too much about that. So it works. It's
Yeah.
like there aren't too many races, so it's like easy to follow. Like, oh, the elves are the pompous ones,
Mm-hmm.
and like
Yeah.
it just keeps it simple.
Yeah, I agree.
I do have to ask though,
Yeah.
Realm, because you've been such a Lios hater.
I'm a Lios
Any-
hater. I'm just a very slightly jaded critique of Laos
Okay.
as an archetype.
But do you think he got any better during this final arc, or no?
I will say I really liked when he demanded from the elves that Marcel stays with him.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
That to me, it's not objectively like the most growth, but like the fruits of your labor sort of thing. Like Laos relied on his imagination to pretty much get through the last form of last part of the story itself.
Yeah.
But like the fruits of labor to show like, all right, he's actually like matured a bit was like, all right, if I'm gonna be in charge, I'm gonna take care of my friends in ways that I need to. So without him doing like a whole 180, like I never wanted him to do a whole 180. I just don't like his archetype
Mm-hmm.
for a character. So
That's fair.
he was really like down in the dumps for me.
Yeah.
I
I
will
get it.
say
I get it.
he
Izutsume is not my favorite archetype either.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
But I
just
get
me
it.
too. It really didn't really. It really just represented like the symbolism of freedom. I don't
Mm.
think Ichizumi really did anything much to
Yeah,
like
I think
mend them into the party more than just like
they had like a few like sort of short episodes with like the succubi and the ice golems where they kind of, had a little character moment.
Yeah.
They're very much like the Peridot of this in comparison to the Steven universe, where like they had a few episodes, they were like an enemy to friends. They had a few episodes where it was really nice to see them like mesh with everyone. And they kind of just sat there for the rest of the series and didn't really do much.
Yeah, so
I think
say,
like my only issue with the series is like I wanted one more chapter with like an Izutsume like focus.
Right.
Towards the end. But,
I mean, we do with her asking around.
I guess, but I wanted like one chapter just kind of like dedicated to Izutsume, similar to how like we had the Bicorn for Chilchuck development and Hippogriff for Senshi development.
Right. No, I understand.
And there was that with the Succubus, with her like having to deal with like the Succubi pretending to be her mom, and that was pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
But I just wanted one more.
One more.
Yeah, I would say her questions were more rushed.
Yeah.
At the end, it didn't even when she was the one doing it, it really didn't explain herself as a whole. I mean, like at the end, she chose a pretty easy answer for herself. So like the author, I suppose, didn't want to intentionally make her as like 2 or 3 dimensional as the other characters, which in terms of consistency, that works out really well. But if that was supposed to be a moment for her to have some growth, I just didn't think it really did that good of a job.
Yeah.
But
no, that's fair.
Who knows?
I think Marcil probably developed the most. I think her character growth.
Oh, 100%.
From
without
like someone
a doubt.
who wasn't wanting to eat monsters to someone who was like figuring out what her goals really were and her whole trying to make everyone have the same amount of lifespan thing.
Yeah, there was a point in the story where I was like, huh, it's interesting. I really feel like Marcil is the main character. But then the last like 20 chapters, I think Lios really became the protagonist in like a really cool way. He's like one of my favorite examples of how to write a protagonist, in my opinion, where it's just he's so good. Like it's so unconventional and interesting to watch or read, I guess. But yeah, I think Lios goes through some character development, but I don't think that's the point. But I think Marcil, the point of her is to go through character development. That's why she becomes the dragon or the demon.
Right.
Dragon Lord,
because I think in a lot of ways, Lios wins the day by using the skills he already has, not new skills that he has developed.
He has to almost learn to be okay with them. Like he almost has to learn more to like embrace them rather than like kind of, not that he like is really that shy to share them, but like there's definitely moments in the story where he's kind of like doesn't do something because like, you know, he hides the sword from them because he's like, well, they're gonna think they're not gonna want me to know that I took the sword. It's weird, like, you know, I'm just obsessed with monsters this much where I'm like just taking this sword because it has a little squishy thing in it. And like I like by the end he realizes that's a strength of his and he uses it to, you know, beat the final boss, and it's pretty cool. I think he goes through character development and like learning to be a little less gullible, but honestly,
I think the realm was right. Like when he stands up for Marcil, it does show a little more like social awareness from him.
Yeah.
To be hey, I can't just be like some guy anymore. I have to sort of be a leader to my party and a king to these people. So I think that's where his development.
When I was listening to Dawn talking about Lios, I was just thinking that like another one of those unknown intentions from the author, but like to take this type of character and then have them grow to be somebody that would be considered a main character. Very interesting.
I think he is. I've never seen a protagonist like Lios. He seems like a character that would be like a one-time joke. Like
he seems like he would be the side character, you know?
Yeah,
with like, oh my god, there goes Lios.
I was
always talking about you monsters again.
When I was like, I remember literally reading it and telling my girlfriend, being like, wow, it's really interesting. I said it was interesting, but I honestly thought it was a little lame that Marcil was becoming the main focus, because I was like, that felt like something I would have guessed from the beginning, that like Marcil would have gotten more focus than someone like Lios, because she's much more interesting. Like her character has a lot more stuff going on. And like, you know, her dilemma is much more interesting than Lios's. But I think making Lios the main character who becomes the king in the end, and you know, it feels more it feels more fitting for the themes, feels more like satisfying in my opinion. Not that like Marcil had plenty of her character. I'm just glad the focus kind of shifted a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
Either way, I mean, Marcel's a close, you know, obviously second to main character, but you know,
Yeah.
What's it called? I was just gonna say something. I do like how it's kind of cool too that they end the series on their ultimate goal being fulfilled, which is to get the Fallon. That's like their tiny little goal that they, not tiny, but like in the grand scheme of things, it was tiny. You know, they just wanted their sister back. Like,
Yeah.
he just wanted his sister back,
Yeah.
and she just wanted her girlfriend back. Like, the entire series was kind of like just doing that. So that for it to literally end on them finally reuniting is very cool. Like,
Yeah.
It's
they
very
could have easily,
D&D-esque, right? Like you completed the quest.
Yeah.
The world goes on, but our story.
it could have easily been like this could have happened earlier, and then they have a whole epilogue thing. But they did all the epilogue stuff first, so they could really bookend it on them reuniting, and that's cool. Like that's really.
And I think like
special.
that red dragon fight in the middle, or not in the middle, but in the first third, really like helps kind of like show this. Like we have like the finding Fallon and reviving her, then going down to fight the dungeon lord, and now the last part, sort of like defeating the dungeon lord and coming back up.
Mm-hmm.
It's a nice character arc or a nice story arc. That I think it was done very well.
Yeah, I agree. I was gonna say something that I forgot. I'll remember it in a minute, I'm sure.
Ryoko Kui's a genius. She's
yeah.
probably one of the best mangakas ever.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. No doubt. I think the world building in this was very well done. The characters were great. I think I have to give it a 10 out of 10. Like for star and slug ratings, I think it's a 10. There are like minor nitpicks I have with like Izutsume needing a little bit more development.
Yeah.
And Chilchuck being a little bit useless during like the final fights, but like
it fits in a very similar bubble to me as like something like one of my favorites is like Mob Psycho, where it's just so perfectly paced. It doesn't waste any time.
Nice.
It's
bookend.
just it has a really good bookend. It's like, you know, you get your perfect amount of time with all your characters. You don't feel like you needed more. Like there could be more. Like maybe we could have gotten a little bit more for Chilchuck or something. But it's like if this was the focus, if that was ever a thought, she knew that was not the priority. Like there is a, and honestly, at the end of the day, I'm a very big believer that's like, you know, she can write whatever she wants. I don't have to like, you know, if I wanted more Chilchuck, that's fine. But if she didn't want to show more Chilchuck, that's also fine. Like you know, I love her writing, so I respect that decision was the correct decision. If there was any kind of, I'm not even saying that as like a specific nitpick. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I think you're right. This joins like Mob Psycho and One Piece and Full Metal Alchemist for like very like nice like
One Piece
has
a
series.
One Piece has a little bit of fluff. like
sure.
Yeah, it drags its feet a teensy bit sometimes, but that's because that's almost, I blame the shonen format for that. But
I think like the density of goodness is still like the same.
Yeah,
all three
I think there's something really cool about these mangakas and manga these days, where they have a lot of freedom. Where like, as long as like deadlines aren't as tight as they used to be, like something like Dungeon Meshi is a very healthy piece of media to exist. Like she took her sweet ass time with it. Like there were probably deadlines, but it was very much just like she wanted to make this thing, and they probably didn't have much say in it. Something like a shonen, sometimes you can feel the rushness of it, or the consistency of it getting to it. But you know, I've heard one series I really want to read is Land of the Lustrous.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, and I've always heard, because that mangaka takes breaks constantly, and people make jokes about it, but I love that. Like, I love the fact that they can take their time if they need to. There's not like, there's pressure, but that's their own personal pressure. There's not like you will not finish this series if you don't continue. It's like, no, it has its fans. It'll continue. Yeah. Like, people will buy it. So
yeah, if you want, we could read Land of the Lustrous next.
I was going to suggest it.
I love that, because I need an excuse to read that series, because I've wanted to forever.
It's very pretty. And also the anime for that series.
I've watched the first season of the anime.
Yeah,
so
I wish it would get a second season, but I don't think
it will. Yeah.
Beastars was too popular.
But no, the manga is pretty in a different way.
Yeah, I really want to read it. I've heard very good things.
I don't think it's as good as Dungeon Meshi. But that's a personal opinion. I also have not really.
There's things to appreciate with both.
Reread it. Yeah.
Okay. Sometimes I feel like Line of the Lesters will still be better than the graphic novel we read, but you know, I don't know.
Oh, but Star and Slug ratings for Dungeon Meshi before we talk about the next one.
I mean, you gave your 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
But
that was for me.
Yeah. I don't know. I can go next unless somebody else wants to.
Yeah, if you want to, sure.
What was I going to say? I think there's just a lot that I've been thinking about, and also just like what I've read additionally, because once I finish a series and there's nothing else to read from an author, I just like to read. Like if they've written anything else, like in an interview or something, I like to read that too. I think one of the things I really like about this series is that one Lios is just a guy. He's just a guy, and he has a lot of like human traits. Like he's definitely not the shonen guy with no bad traits and just is saving the world for the sake of it. Even like in an interview, Ryokukui said that like if Lios was in the real world, he would just be a retail worker. Like he wouldn't have a special job or anything like that.
Yeah.
Which is great. And I think, I don't know, that really just, I don't know why it made me like rethink the entire series. Like it made it even better for me that like the entire story was able to be written and completed with such really drilling in these themes of like eating and what it means to eat, and our relationships with the different societies and our close friends, and how much should we care about like people that we don't know, things like that. But everybody needs to eat, so we all have something we can relate on. It's just beautiful. I just really like it. It's honestly, it's a 10 out of 10 on both ends to me. Like I really would just easily recommend this to anybody to read. And it's beautiful art. It's just so great. Like I track like everything I read like every year because I just do that, and I've read like almost entirely fantasy this year, and this is the best one, the best fantasy I've read this year so far, like by a lot. Yeah, I really like it. So
10
10
out of 10s.
10 out of 10.
I guess I can go next. I'm next in line.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, realistically, I don't have really any problems with it. Like, there aren't any glaring things that like annoyed me. So probably I would like give it a perfect rating. I was just gonna say, I think if like I wouldn't normally give a 10 out of 10 if like there wasn't something super special to bring it over the edge, because like a good series is a good series, whatever. But like you were saying, I do think Ryoko Kui's art and her interest in like non-conventional character types for manga is its X factor. Like it puts it over the edge. Like the fact that Laos is clearly autistic, like it's not even like trying to sugarcoat it. Like it's supposed to be relating to people with like special interests like this. That is so cool. Like that is so different, and like especially for Japanese media, and like, you know, things like just the way she draws such a variety of different body types, and the way their noses are so pronounced. I fucking love it. Like
I keep talking about how I just like everybody's body proportions. It's so good.
Yeah. It's just and not like they are real. They're decently realistic, but they're not like, they're very appealing to look at. They look like they move around realistically. It's just like masterful. It's just masterful art, just masterful design. It's fucking nuts, and it's cool. And I don't read a lot of fantasy. It's like something that I'm definitely more like a sci-fi interested person when it comes to my media. But I'm starting to appreciate more and more with stuff like Final Fantasy and like, you know, this and stuff. It's like, it's cool what kind of stories you can tell with such a more grounded reality like this in a way, which is neat. Yeah, it's probably, I'd say 10 out of 10. I don't think I could like name something I have a problem with it, if I'm being honest. So
I haven't been as satisfied in a long time with the story.
Yeah, I'm just glad stuff like this exists that can just be like in and out. Like you read it, it's good, and it leaves a hugely impactful impression on you. That's like the kind of media that I want to make. Like it's always the kind of media that I appreciate so much. Yeah, it's like sometimes when I see people who are like, you know, people who want to make the next like One Piece, I'm like, are you nuts? Like that is such a tall order. Like I'd rather make something that like Dungeon Meshi's here and now and it will be gone in like terms of like zeitgeist. That's okay, because like I've 50 years from now, like if I'm talking about food related media, I'll be like, oh my god, there was this book series I read called like Dungeon Meshi back in the day, and it was like the best. And like, you know, same with like Mob Psycho. If like the conversation ever came up about like, you know, people who weren't necessarily artists making media, like artistic media, I'd be like, oh my god, there's Mob Psycho. It's a classic example, and it'll just forever until the day I die, I will be talking about it. But you know, it's cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good. 10 out of 10. That's the.
Yeah.
I agree. I'm glad we read it.
Yeah. Well, you don't have to give it 10 out of 10.
Yeah, it's fine.
No.
Yeah,
I am
really don't.
very eagerly listening to all of your opinions, because you guys bring up things that either it didn't impact me or it did not occur to me while reading it. Like, you know, the interviews you said with the author itself, and I'm just like, you know, part of me wanted a bit more context, and you gave me that context. Part of me just like wouldn't care to read the context, and somebody who's like somewhere in the middle, like, I just want to read it and get the story without having too many impressions from other people. So like, there's like, just like Laos, there's like multiple of me just kind of hanging out, like trying to figure out like what the heck is up with this story.
3 heads.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with I'm gonna do the objective rating first. I would say the unique cast of characters, I would say that like they're not unique in like their archetype, but what the author did with them was really cool. I have to say, it blended well into this fantasy story. It did not hold back just because it was a fantasy story. Themes were hitting hard when they should. For the latter half too, I thought some flashbacks, especially with like a lion's origin, I thought it was like, I thought they hit it at like the perfect time. Objectively, I would definitely give this like, an 8.5 or a 9. I thought just like what it did compared to just the sea of things that we all consume, whether it be regular literature, manga, manhwa, light novels, you know, visual novels, anything really. I thought it just did a really good job with what it had and what it wanted to show you, and it did it all in under 100 chapters. So that's like fairly impressive. I kind of wish webtoon people would take a note of those people and just decide not to give us like 500 chapters of something. You know, sometimes you just want to read trash, and like you can go find that somewhere. But I think a lot of people would be very happy if they read this. Subjective rating, as you may know, I have a slight issue, just a slight one.
Just slight?
With Laos as a character. For the majority of it, I thought the characters, the other characters definitely pulled it for me, like helped me get through it. Marcil is like my number one here. Senshi, very behind her because, well, besides the fact they kind of look like him, I just enjoyed everything he did. And he got his proper development.
Yeah.
And he mended well with the team in just better ways, I would say. So, just because, okay, to answer your question before, Toto, I think Laos is doing or did, I'd say about like 35-40% better than I thought of him prior. I would say I would not smack him as much as I wanted to at the first half or the first 2/3 of the story. But I definitely would not hang out with him. So subjectively, just based, I'm gonna say I can't give it higher than like a 6.5 or a 7, personally, just because I can see the quality. Like I can see past the punchable face, and I can see the high quality of the story and like its themes and its like genuine feeling it gives you. Um, but there are just some things from reading so many stories that like I've just like okay, well, I felt like you like Toto said before, like you could have thrown in a chapter or two, given somebody this point. Certain parts of the story, I was just like, damn, I do not give a single hoot about any of these new additional side characters, especially like around chapter 30 when they did that whole spiel about all these new casting characters. I'm like, shut up. We literally just got Fallon and then they went away. Why are you stopping us now? Like,
But where else would we stop? I actually thought that that was a pretty good place to take a look at like the other characters because it was like in between their like journey, right? It was kind of a pit stop before they went to the deeper levels.
well,
Yeah.
30
sense.
moved to like I'm trying to remember my best now, but like
Yeah, it was like right before they go down and fight the shapeshifters.
30? I
I
thought
think
30
so.
was when was the
Or
No, I think that was further along. I think we had already seen Fallon, and then she got scooped up by Thistle,
yeah.
and then it came to those
I
side
thought you were
characters.
talking about like after that happens, we have like a whole chapter dedicated to the world building and all the people on the surface.
Yeah. So it was like
Yeah.
between 29 and 32 was that whole action, and then the world building, and I'm like,
Yeah,
no,
and
that
I
was
think that
just the turning.
happened in a sensible spot between like, hey, they got Fallen kidnapped, and then the next part of the journey is gonna be going looking for Dragon Fallen.
Mm-hmm.
It just felt like a cliffhanger that was just a little unnecessary.
Yeah.
I mean, it
Yeah.
may only have been a cliffhanger because, like, we stopped reading. But at that point, I don't know. I don't know.
I actually, I'm reading chat. I think actually they do a pretty good job of showing Fallon's character through other
Yeah, and
characters.
backstories. Yeah.
I was like looking at some other reviews for this, and the series does a really good job of microcosmal world building where like you can build like the rest of the world, even though we don't actually go to any other countries or we don't see what the other countries are like or spend any time like getting to really know any of the characters from like far off, other than like kind of Shiro, maybe. We can still get a sense of like what the race relationships are like and what the different countries may be like and the different cultures just
Yeah.
based on the characters we do see.
Yeah.
And the same goes for Fallen. Like we get the sense of like what kind of person she is by how the party struggles without her.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of is like, I don't want to be super depressing, but it is kind of like Anohana, where it's like she's dead, but we all learn about her through the other people's memories.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I like all the characters. I actually like, now that it's the end, I can't decide who's my favorite character. I kind of like everybody.
Favorite character?
It's too hard.
I think for me personally, like just I mean like I probably would like in terms of like writing, I do really like Kabu. I think he's such a cool character.
Wow, I don't like him at all.
I mean,
think he's a very interesting character, but he's like the character I would not hang out with. Like
no,
I would never.
I would stay a solid like 50 feet away from him at all times. Like I wouldn't get anywhere close to him. But like I think he's probably my favorite character to watch somewhat. Like I liked his addition a lot, especially only because he's not a main character probably. Like like he didn't have to be in the story for it to be the way it was, but I think it was really his contrast with Lios and his story with Mithrin was really cool, and like his motives were cool, and it helped like give kind of some world building to the demon and everything. It was just a cool character, and he's cool looking, and he's like very mysterious. I don't know, I just like his addition a lot. Out of the main cast, I think I'd probably be close. I don't know.
I think I'd be closest with Marcil or Chilchek. Yeah,
I'd probably be friends with Lios too. I could probably.
Yeah, I'd probably be like chill with Lios, but I wouldn't be like the guy who hangs out with him all the time.
Yeah.
I'd probably not like
Lios.
Chilchuck.
I feel like
I would not get along
Realm's
with Chilchuck.
relationship with Lios is like very Shuro. It's a Shuro relationship with Lios where like I begrudgingly respect you.
By the end, if for some reason I begrudgingly hung out with him for 96 chapters worth of time, I'd be like, good for you. Go enjoy your life. I'll see ya probably never, and then go on my separate way. I would appreciate where he is. Good for you. Goodbye. But in most cases, I would not hang out with them enough to do that, so I wouldn't.
I feel like I'd be between like a Chilchuck and Marcil, like view of Lios.
Chilchuck would probably hate me.
Honestly,
and I'd probably hate him.
I think I could be friends with Lios. Like, he's weird, but I like listening to people just rant about weird shit.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Right.
As long as he could be like, we're talking like late game Laos, where he's just kind of like a little bit more understanding. It's like, as long as I can like also gush about my weird interests and he can also gush, that's fine. Marcil might be a little. Marcil
I don't
might
know
be
about that, because the thing about Lios is he wouldn't listen to your weird interests.
I wouldn't listen to his either, but that's fine as long as we can both talk. Like,
yeah.
Right.
We both got our words out and we didn't listen to a damn thing. We were just like, anyway, that reminds me of the food that I like ate once or whatever. And I'd be like, anyway, that reminds me of this video game I played once.
Right.
Yeah. I do like how he, like, Lios does get forced to like learn magic, and that's like one thing from someone else he like learns.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not very good at those.
He's not very good at learning from other people, no.
Yeah, I mean, Marcil seems nice, but
I would totally hang out with Marcil.
I'm sure I hang out with her. I don't know how well I get along with her, but that's okay. I kind of like when characters are in media that I wouldn't get along with, because I'm like, part of me is like, I like seeing different dynamics of people that like I wouldn't. And the fact that I can, like, I'll be honest. Like, I love the One Piece cast. I don't think I could truthfully tell you if I would like hang out and get along with most of that cast. Sometimes they're such anime characters. I'm like, I don't even know how to like, how do you even? Yeah. Is there anyone like Zoro?
They're like larger than life, right?
Yeah, you can't hang out with Chopper.
I would hang out with Chopper and Robin, and maybe Nami. Nami would probably rob me blind.
I was gonna say, even Nami is such a cartoon character. It's almost hard to like imagine you hanging out with someone.
Nami
like her.
Would like seduce me and then rob me blind. Like, yeah.
Or like Zoro, it's like, is Zoro even like a real like, how would I like imagine myself understanding someone like, if I met Zoro, I'd be like slapping myself, being like, wake up, wake up, wake up.
No, you'd just be watching him work out with like 1,000-ton weights or whatever.
Right.
I'd be like, cool.
And like Frankie, I feel like I love Frankie as a character, but I don't think I could hang out with him. He's so loud and obnoxious.
I think that might be why I have such a special opinion towards like Vivi. I think she's pretty like grounded for the most part. She's like she has like decently human reactions to things, where like as some of the other characters do not.
Oh man, I would like hate hanging out with like Sanji or Luffy in real life.
Yeah, definitely.
I would love to hang out with Robin.
Honestly, Sanji.
Robin's fine.
Robin and Chopper, I would be.
Sanji doesn't seem that bad. Like, if he like seems pretty chill if you like get to know him well enough, but I wouldn't trust him. Like, he just seems like he's just a weirdo.
But I'm a woman. I would not want him to like thirst over me. That'd be really gross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Jinbei. I would get
Jinbei.
Oh, Jinbei.
Jinbei. Everyone loves
Jinbei.
Jinbei.
Not get along with Jinbei.
I know Jinbei's the best.
There's some characters I would, but it's funny how I can really see myself being in like hanging out with the Dungeon Meshi cast because they're so real.
Right.
It's like they're just like people I can almost relate them to people that I know in real life, being like, I know someone kind of similar. I've known someone kind of similar to Chilchuck.
It's hard because it's like comparing very different series, right? Because this one is definitely so grounded. This one wants you to feel the humanity.
Yeah.
Whereas,
I could.
Yeah, One Piece is very much fantastical. It's very
like going back to like Mob Psycho.
serious.
It's like the Mob Psycho cast. I could see myself being in, like having relationships with too, just because they're much more grounded.
Human.
They're more kids most of the time.
Which is very interesting because you say you want to read Land of the Lustrous, which is almost like the exact opposite. Because the whole thing is that they're not human.
I can appreciate both ends. I think one of the coolest things, one of the absolute coolest things that I loved about that anime when I watched that first season is, like, I mentioned how cool I think this stuff is. I love when like worlds are so vague, like it's almost like you're just supposed to interpret it. Like most of the details are so vague that you're just supposed to just kind of you're supposed to imagine how this stuff works rather than actually knowing how it works. Like,
yeah,
I love shit like that. So I'm sure I will appreciate it for the opposite reasons I appreciate Dungeon
it's
Meshi,
very
which is cool.
interesting, yeah, because that's it. It's almost like the exact opposite of Dungeon Meshi. Dungeon Meshi is a very like, even though it's fantastical, it's a very like rational series. It's very like scientific. Its explanations of things. And
I'm still an art student who went to art school,
Yeah.
so I still really end up appreciating like obscure, surrealist stuff when I can.
It's very surreal. Yeah, it's very surreal and abstract and spiritual.
Yeah.
I would say, for Land of the Lustrous.
I'm excited.
That'll be fun. Yeah, for sure. I'm excited about that.
I do actually want to read Full Metal Alchemist at some point.
We could do that too. That would be fine.
Because maybe after this one, because I feel like that series is maybe a little too close to this one, and I wouldn't like to like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it could be. It's close in the sense that it's like a very good world building with realistic characters.
With very human characters.
Yeah, decently grounded fantasy story too. I can see it being similar. Yeah.
But I've only ever watched the anime. I've never read the manga for FMA.
You've read, or you've watched Brotherhood though, right?
Yeah, I've watched Brotherhood.
Okay, similar experience, but I haven't read it myself, but I do know they're pretty accurate.
Yeah.
Maybe
the other one I wanted to read was possibly Naruto. I've never actually read Naruto.
Wait, you read Naruto, haven't you, Realm?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. You don't sound happy about it.
November 17th, 2014, when I read the last chapter. I don't know why I remember that, but that's just it.
Oh my god,
I don't think I would enjoy Naruto as much as like other series, but I think it's like I've never read it though,
Oh yeah, I hope you know a good contractor because plot holes are everywhere.
Yeah. But I feel like that would be interesting because that's a popular series and we would get super mad about it.
How long is like Naruto? Like the original
700 chapters.
700 chapters on the dot.
I was like, it was like 300. It's like 700.
Yeah, it's about like man, I'm trying to think.
It's like 2/3 of One Piece.
Oh.
Well, similarly, it's ending in like 2 weeks.
What? Oh, My Hero
Academia.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh. Okay, I have no interest in reading My Hero. I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's cool, but it's long and tiring. So
I love the art style, but I got tired of it.
The art is incredible. He's my favorite. He's my favorite shonen artist right now. Yeah.
But yeah, it doesn't really appeal to me.
Yeah.
What was the other one I wanted to read? Oh, Steel Ball Run. I think.
Oh, JoJo.
Part 7. Wow.
Part 7. Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
I want to
read a single part of JoJo. I think I would.
But I think Part 7 is like the best one.
I know they're disconnected. I know they're disconnected, but I would want the context of the rest, just like artist-wise. I'd want to know the context of how he come to one point to another.
That's true. Well, if we wanted to do another like long manga series, eventually we could possibly do JoJo's.
How long is Land of the Lustrous? I always thought that was kind of long.
Land of the Lustrous is not that long.
Let's see.
I think it's like 90 some chapters.
Oh, that's not too bad.
It's 12 volumes.
Okay, 12 volumes. That's not too bad.
Oh yeah, it's only it's 108 chapters. That's the entirety of it.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense too, because it's like very Buddhist based. And
yeah, you're right.
Buddhism.
Cool.
There was one I wanted to read.
Yeah, we could probably discuss that after. I'm not. I think sometimes big longer.
I'm totally down to read.
I don't know if I'd be.
I read it, but I didn't. I read it in like chunks as it came out from hiatus, so I didn't really get the full.
I definitely wouldn't be interested in reading Naruto, unfortunately.
No, I'm not that interested in Naruto.
Maybe
either.
be interested in JoJo, but I'm also I'm kind of in the middle about JoJo. Like, I think I would like some of it, but I wouldn't. Yeah. I don't know if we're gonna do a series.
If we're reading JoJo's, we would really just do Steel Ball Run. Like Steel Ball Run, this is not really a spoiler. It takes place like in a completely separate dimension from the first 6 parts.
I have heard that. Yeah, I know a lot about it. Like
a lot of the same names.
Yeah, it uses some of the same names, but it's like totally fine if you don't know the references to anything.
We should
that's fine.
We should read this one comic series called Platinum Dreams.
Oh yeah, we should read that
when it's finished.
When it's finished eventually. I like Platinum Dreams. Yeah, I've read most of it actually.
That's flattering.
Yeah.
I really have. I'm not lying.
No, I don't want to read that one. That one looks gross, and the art style looks bad.
Wow!
Oh my god!
I'm destroying your
Well, I'm literally drawn in this
Yeah, I was gonna say. I was like, that stuff for the comics a little different, but yeah.
It's a little, yeah.
In case the chat or the audience doesn't know, that's Dawn's comic.
Yeah.
I didn't want to say it.
It's Dawn's comic. You should check it out.
It's fun. It's cute.
Actually,
Yeah,
someone messaged me on, this is totally off topic, but someone messaged me on Twitter asking, it was really flattering, like asking me if they wanted to start a 4-panel comic strip, and they were like, oh, how do you do it? Like, how do you structure a comic like that? Does it come naturally, or is it like, do you think about it? And I'm like, oh, I think about it way too much. I'm like, and I like drew him like a whole like schematic on how to format a 4-panel comic strip, and I was like, yeah, you definitely have to think about it a lot if you want to do this. So unfortunately does not come naturally.
I don't remember the name of the manga, the one that you really like, Don, with the Jimi Hendrix Possession guitar.
Shiori Experience.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind.
It's not
that one.
done. It's
That's
not
okay.
done though. That's the problem, and it's very. It's a weird one because like
I can read it on my own.
You should. I would highly recommend you read it. It's just it's out, and if you know any Japanese, it'd be probably maybe a fun project to read it in Japanese too, to like study up, because they probably have like half of it translated, but the guy who translated it's kind of he just like gets into it in bursts. Like sometimes he's translating it, sometimes he just gives up and stops. So
that's kind of annoying.
It's a bit of a shame, and it will never be officially translated. There's no way. So it's like, I don't know how far they are along in the Japanese version. I don't know. Like, it's been going on since like 2014. It's a monthly issued manga, or bi-monthly maybe.
Chapters.
Yeah, it is so good though. Oh man,
I'll go read it in Japanese.
Yeah, you should. If you do, let me know.
Yeah.
Oh, my girlfriend showed me Goodnight Poon Poon, but that might be. I don't know.
I don't want to read that one.
I've heard it's good, but I've heard it's very depressing too.
Is Vinland Saga?
Oh, Vinland Saga.
I heard that manga is also ending soon.
I have been meaning to read that. I cried during both seasons.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's very
good. My only selfish recommendation, if I had to just completely pick one, would be Meizan Ikoku, which is like an old Rumiko Takahashi series.
I would read that.
I love that series.
I also want to read Sailor Moon at some point because I've never actually read that.
Oh, and I've actually another one just to add to the list. I've really wanted to read the original Cardcaptor Sakura too.
Yes! Let's do it.
I've never read it.
Yeah, we haven't really read any like magical girl manga. We read a book about magical girls.
I love the manga. I love that manga.
I was gonna say Cardcaptor is one of my favorite animes of all time, so I'm very curious on the way that differs from the anime to the.
I love it. We could read Clear Card too.
I'm interested. I haven't watched or read it, so I've only read the original, or I've watched the original series. Do you know that was one of the biggest inspirations for my comic?
I couldn't. Yeah, I could tell. But yeah.
Theming wise and like pacing.
So I don't know.
Only because I read it.
And pacing wise.
Yeah. Cardcaptor Sakura should be on the list only because it's like my favorite thing. But
here's my hot like little like pitch for Cardcaptor Sakura. It's a better Madoka Magica.
It's much better Madoka Magica.
Yeah, that's what I always say. It's like Madoka's also.
Yeah,
it's like the same idea of like telling like kind of slightly darker or more serious human themes, but they do it in a way more inviting and like more magical girl way.
Yeah,
that's not like trying to be like, we're not your typical mommy daddy magical girl show. We're a little edgier than that. It's like Cardcaptor is so good.
Yeah, and it's like it's kids, but but it doesn't really feel like a kids show a lot of the time.
Yeah,
or kids.
They're
manga.
The way they talk about like relationships and stuff is very good, and the way they talk about life and death is really poetic and cool. It's just it's a good series.
Yeah, if we could read anything by Clamp, I'd be happy.
Honestly. I've only ever besides like I guess Code Geass isn't Clamp, but like it's the only series I've ever really seen from Clamp is that. So
yeah. And Magic Knight Ray Earth is getting a remake next year, which is very exciting.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. Yeah,
I'm so excited. Okay, but first we can do Land of the Lustrous first.
Yeah,
I'm down for that.
But I like all the ideas.
Yeah,
I feel like one time we should just read an absolute like trash manga.
Something bad, like Naruto.
Fairy Tail.
No, like Fairy Tail.
Yeah. Well, okay, something short, but
true.
bad. like Shonen Jump has a lot of like new authors all the time, and then some of them get canceled like super early.
That's true. They
Worst
get
They're
canceled.
like 12th
manga
chapter or
ever.
something.
Worst manga ever.
I don't want it to be bad. I just want it to be incredibly
Trashy.
mid.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wolf
just
guy.
like very trashy, just so like we have like, you know, a palate cleanser, you know?
Yeah.
Kind of like a like base point to be like, oh, this makes our other manga that we read feel more special.
Feel better.
Yeah, someone put like people are posting on Reddit, man. What a contrarian putting Shingeki no Kyojin, one of the worst manga ever. Like,
I don't like the manga, but that's sorry if anyone that likes it. It's just not my
I
thing.
like
Yeah.
it, but it's definitely a cup of tea thing. But I wouldn't call it the worst ever. That's pretty harsh.
Yeah,
the reason it's popular.
It's the same. It's like I get why people like it. It's just not for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. And actually, here I have the thing. Oh my god, I spelled it wrong. There we go. Yeah. So on the 23rd of July, we're going to be discussing Dragon Fruit, the book Dragon Fruit by Makia Lucier. It's a Pacific Islander dragon fantasy. I think it's a romantasy, actually. Our first foray into romantasy, even though it's like the most popular genre right now. And I'm excited because it's about Pacific Islander mythology, and I have not read a book ever about that. So, yay! You could join us and read that if you like. It's not a very long book. It has, like, huge font, so it probably won't take that long to read.
Huge font. That's interesting.
It's huge font. Like, I was really surprised.
we're talking like the hungry caterpillars.
Yeah, no, it's not that big. It's only a little. Oh, it's only a little smaller though.
Funny.
And yeah, I guess we're probably gonna read Land of the Lustrous next for Manga Club. So stay tuned for that. That's very exciting. Oh, Realm, are you okay with that? Sorry, we just kind of threw that on you.
No, I have no idea what that is. So
Okay, cool.
I have no.
Think Steven Universe. Period.
I never watched Steven Universe.
Dang.
Okay.
Well, cool. No
but
context
don't think
at
Steven
all.
Universe.
No context whatsoever. Yeah.
Yeah, it is a little Steven Universe, but not really at all.
Not really. It's like a joke to say that, but it's funny.
Yeah.